If you're wondering what the twinkling of glasses is, it's a special Canadian beverage being prepared for us.
So is this like a traditional... How traditional would the Inuits drink this? How far back does it go?
Probably not.
Are we
To the dawn of time.
the dawn of time? So people came out of Africa, went to Canada, and started drinking Canadian
Well, this
Dry.
particular whiskey, Canadian Club, was established in 1858.
That's pretty old.
It is. That's a decent
That's
amount
like
of time.
as old as Australia, white Australia is kind of.
Yeah. It was a favorite in whorehouses and speakeasies. And the clubs of the time during Prohibition.
So was it bathtub
So
whiskey?
did you guys got prohibition? Did you?
Yeah.
That sounds ridiculous. You guys got prohibited, but you guys were prohibited.
I don't
from
think.
drinking.
Was that Canada?
It was.
I thought that was the states that had prohibition, and we supplied them with liquor.
Oh, and you guys made the money.
we
off
were a
it.
huge part of it. And apparently, Winston Churchill's mother drank Canadian Club whiskey.
Winston Churchill's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a classy lady. That one.
Yeah,
Actually,
hard as fuck.
the first time I ever actually started drinking it was because, and it was probably product placement, but
Can I guess? Can I guess?
Yeah.
Because of Glee.
No. No, my other favourite show, Mad Men.
Sex in the City.
They
Mad
probably
Don Draper drinks it in Mad Men.
Yeah.
And it's probably product placement. I don't know if he would actually drink.
Canadian Club.
Was that
In
hip
the-
in America in 1960s?
I bet you that was a very popular drink at that time. When is Mad Men set in?
59, 60, 61.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The moon hasn't happened yet. No.
Well, the moon's happened, but...
But Kennedy got assassinated. So far. Oh, you're
Well, the end of the first season's 59, 60, isn't it?
Mm.
They're celebrating the turning of the decade.
I thought the first episode was a New Year's Eve, going from 59 to 60. Or maybe not.
No, I think it was the end of the first season.
Oh.
I think that's how they ended the first season. Ah, well, we all have Canadian Dries. Shall we cheers to
Cheers.
long lost friends and new acquaintances and Canada, glorious Canada.
Canada.
Shall we start with an anthem, maybe? Oh, is that how it goes?
That is pretty
Maybe
cool.
guys
Yeah,
can
hey.
sing it.
Yeah.
Canada special. Hit it,
Here we go.
guys.
Really?
Yeah. We want to know.
I wish we had some background like
Some
music.
fat beats.
What? You guys don't sing it raw?
We do. Are you gonna sing yours after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, to make it like a ceremony of these two countries
we're
coming
both
together?
part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
so
Commonwealth. Well, it's like Choggum.
If we were,
Maybe we
This
sing
is
them,
our own Choggum.
maybe we need to
It's a
sing them
state.
together.
At the same time.
Yeah.
All right.
like a
3,
mashup.
2, 1.
strong and free.
With beauty rich and ray, with history every stage, advance Australia fair.
Quality mixing now. You can see the red light.
That was
we
intense.
missed the last verse. I think we both got confused at the same time.
Yeah. And we
and it-
reverted back. Yeah.
Do you have like
What happened there?
Do you have a mysterious second verse like us? Like no one in Australia knows the
Yeah.
second verse of Australian Advanced
I think we just missed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everyone sort of just starts mumbling towards that bit. What was the big push?
I've only ever had to sing it once, and that was at an Anzac Day ceremony.
We used to have to sing it every Friday at school assembly.
both two
Yeah.
verses.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know, over 7 years I didn't get it. And we used
Even
to have
with-
to
they
sing
used
the
to put
Lord's
up a-
Prayer in a government
Yeah?
school.
Oh, see, we had to do that too.
Yeah.
The Lord's
yeah.
Prayer.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's pretty controversial whenever
Yeah.
I bring it up here.
That's old
'cause-
school.
Yeah.
They don't do
'cause-
that anymore.
No. And it's a
Oh.
government school. No one I know had to do that. We used
We
to
had
do
a
it.
school motto we had to recite, and the national anthem. But that was it. I can't remember what the school motto was.
Ours was knowledge is power. Can you believe that?
In Perth Mod.
Oh no, that's a fucking lie. It was faith in learning. Should have been knowledge is power.
Yeah, that would have been a great one.
That's what I got out of my schooling.
Okay, so we're live. It's the Fangin' Around show, and as you can tell, it's a Canadian special. But I'll just introduce our individual members of the panel today. We're joined by, to my left,
Wilson, from Alberta, and it's a landlocked country, so we don't have beaches.
We do on both ends, but not where we're from.
Correct.
My name's Campbell. I'm from Perth, and I'm still here. And we do have beaches, and there's always sharks.
what
in
is your
them.
genetic makeup?
Oh man, that's racial. I don't.
It's racial. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's white, primarily Anglo, Scottish, and a bit of Maori.
It's a good mix.
Yeah, I've got a bit of that in it.
All right.
And then my partner's Anglo and Mexican, so our son's got a bit of everything in him. It's pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
Yeah, it's like a melting pot.
He should be cool and accepted amongst all the groups. then.
No, he'll probably be rejected by everyone. Not fit in anywhere.
Before we get too far in, I'll just introduce myself as well. I am Nick, also from Canada, and it's been that way for 27 years. Although I do consider myself an honorary Australian.
I think we think of you as an honorary.
I'd be proud to be honorary Australian.
Have you got a koala in a can? If you do,
Not yet.
that's our way of saying one of us. When you leave our shores and you've got a koala in a can.
What is said koala in a can?
It's something you'll find in just about every Australian tourist gift shop. Is that right, James? Am I right in saying that?
Koala in a can. Well, probably the last time I went to a tourist gift shop was for one of Nick's going away parties.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you picking
I mean,
up?
Australians don't go to Australian tourist shops.
we don't. Unless we're buying stuff for people who are
Well, in fact, it wasn't even Nick. It was the American Ben.
Ben.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I seem to remember we all went to the city to find, and we went to every single souvenir shop in Perth, which at the time, I don't know what it's like now, but there was like 400. There was more per.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. They sell all
big
kinds
market.
of tiny little Perth stuff.
But yeah, a koala in a can, essential part of it.
A koala in a can.
Because we were looking for a G'day from WA t-shirt, which was out of print at the time.
G'day from WA.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty iconic.
Yeah. I guess.
In its own special way. Koala in a can. It's basically, cans which have peanuts in them, I
Yes.
guess. It's that sort of weight and ring pull, but it's got a stuffed koala in it. So it's not koala meat.
That's good.
No.
I could send that home to my sister-in-law.
Yeah,
She'd think that would be awesome.
People love it. Yeah. And you pop it open and there's a little koala in there.
That's
And
cute.
it comes out.
Yeah, everybody loves koalas.
Yeah.
They don't realize that they're raging drunks.
Oh, they're full on.
Yeah.
They're high all the time.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
No. That's if you
They
take
can't
if you
stop.
take their
You pop them
eucalyptus
out of
leaves
the-
away,
They'll
they
fuck you
freak
up.
out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
giant claws and
Yeah,
shit.
bear claws.
Oh,
and,
so that's...
and they stink. And they make a sound like babies screaming. No, like cats. You know when cats howl in the night in an alleyway? It's like
Yeah.
that when they start fighting. It's
Yeah.
really scary.
Huh. I was really hoping to go to Kangaroo Island that I was told about, maybe hang out with a koala bear, but...
You don't want to do
I think
that.
there's one up at a place called Yanchep here.
Yanchep National
There's
Park.
a koala petting park up there.
Yeah, there is.
If you wanted to do it in Perth. I'm not sure it's that amazing or not.
It'd be pretty cool, I guess, to hold a... As long as
I've
one
never
doesn't
done
get
it.
pissed off.
But I don't like-
I've never done it.
I've seen
There's a-
them. I've never held one.
Yeah, and you look. I think at Caversham Wildlife Park, they got koalas, they got all sorts of goannas and shit. They got kangaroos and wombats. So that's like your one-stop Australian animal freak fest right there.
I'll have to check it out. What about? Did you say was that at the zoo?
No. I think it's at Caversham Wildlife Park,
okay.
which is near Whiteman Park.
Yep.
I do
But it's
understand
not that far.
that there is like a petting zoo somewhere within your city.
No,
Well, that might be Caversham, right?
I think that's Caversham.
Or is Caversham the Yanchep place? I know there's
Yeah.
somewhere near
Oh.
Yanchep.
I don't know. Because these are the things that locals never go to.
Yeah. Why would you though?
Oh, I've never held a koala. Now I'm feeling really kind of shit. It's like I've never seen the bungle bungles.
Oh, that you should see.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I've
know.
never seen
I
the
think-
desert wildflowers blossom. And
We should see that too.
I know.
I can do that you can just do a day trip, I think, for that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll do it next
I mean, it's
time.
a pretty extensive day trip, but probably want to wait till your kid doesn't mind driving 3 hours in each direction.
No.
Yeah. Kids in cars are an
Fun.
interesting deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, the wildflower thing is kind of something you have to do because they only appear for a certain amount of time. So you have to like,
You got windows.
yeah, when you hear about it, you go up there and there's like a traffic jam in the middle of the desert where there's normally only one car every 7 days.
Everyone wants to see the wildflowers.
So I hear it's one of the natural wonders of the world as well.
I don't think that's true.
Either way, it sounds pretty good and pretty entertaining, though. If you can have a traffic jam over some flowers in the middle of the desert, you're doing something right.
Yeah, I mean,
do we have anything like that would cause that in Canada? I think the only thing that causes that is the seal hunt.
Do you guys still do a seal hunt?
Absolutely.
we do.
No, really?
Oh, the locals, the Inuit up
Really?
north.
Oh, the
absolutely.
Inuit. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's a
well-
traditional thing.
Oh, yeah, but you still allow everybody else if they want to.
Oh, really?
Oh, huge
really?
protest.
Get like a license.
Because in Australia, the
No
only
way.
people allowed to kill crocodiles are, Aboriginals, which are our version of your Inuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But there's all
no,
sorts
I-
of animals like that as well. There's things like
yeah.
turtles,
Yeah, turtles only.
like different
Manatees?
manatees, manta rays,
Yeah.
all sorts of things, which is fair enough. Like, fuck,
Oh.
they've been doing it for like 100,000 years plus.
Yeah, they're still trying to stop them from killing the seals. But I think
They get the babies or the
Well, they kill the babies because
fur.
of the fur.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been a part of that.
However,
I'm looking at you.
I did watch our Governor General take a bite out of uncooked baby seal meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that like a kind of
That was-
reconciliation thing? Or?
No, well, kind of, yeah. That the government would say it was okay, but the protesters, of course, PETA is still a little upset that you're killing
Baby seal.
One of the
seals.
cutest creatures on earth.
I know.
Yeah, but you
With
could
the
say that about koalas, and
Yeah.
those bastards would probably tear you apart too.
Do Canadians like give a toss about who the Governor General is?
I don't really know that the Governor General holds a lot of power in Canada.
Yeah, but he's kind of like, is it a he or she? We've got a girl, woman at the moment.
We just had a woman, actually. I'm not sure who the current one is.
So that's probably good. But do you know your Prime Minister?
Yes, that is Stephen
Stephen
Harper.
Harper.
He finally won a majority government.
Well, that's a
But
treat.
isn't he trying to get rid of all the universal health care that all the Americans are jealous of?
No, the Americans don't trust the universal healthcare. It's a fucking communist conspiracy.
Whatever it is, they can spend their billions of dollars on wars that they can't win.
Yes, that's very true. What do you guys make of the Occupy movement that's happening in the States? Is there much traction in Canada for it, or is it?
Yeah, a lot of the major cities are occupying. Victoria, I know my tattoo artist is from Victoria on Vancouver Island, and she put up pictures of their little shanty town.
Yeah.
Maybe I just think this is a little ridiculous, but what is the whole Occupy Wall Street over again? I seem to have lost where
What's
that
it
is.
about?
Yeah.
Oh, what's
What's the underlying
1% of the population holds 90% of the fortune, the wealth.
90.
Yeah, but that's been for the last million years.
yeah.
So why are we worried
Well, now
about
they're
it now?
stepping up.
Well, I think
People have
by
been on the
setting
internet.
up-
They got savvy. They're like, "What's this?"
yeah.
So we're gonna go set up tents on them.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna work. We're gonna want them to pay for everything,
Well, I think
and
it's,
I'm gonna just hold my sign and be a protester. Is that
But I think it's
what are they trying to achieve?
I think they're trying
then?
to mobilize people's kind of spirit, and I guess that's what it's
Yeah,
about.
but didn't Bill Gates like 3 years ago pledge all his money except interest or something like that, and gave it away? Didn't he
Yeah.
start that? Didn't even the
But no-
Facebook guy was on top of that? What, Mark, whatever his name
Mark
was?
Zuckerberg or whatever.
Zuckerberg.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm not really a spokesperson for.
Yeah, but I think
Occupy.
I think Gates is. There's a couple of people like Gates and Warren Buffett who are totally pro that, and Warren Buffett came out and said, "Yes, the rich people should get taxed more."
Yeah.
Or just pay a proper amount of
Yeah.
tax.
Because in America, I don't think we don't have it that much in Australia because once you get richer, you get taxed up until 47%. But I think I could be wrong that federal tax in America is like just 10% of or 20% of what you earn.
Just
So-
flat.
Yeah, so that even the poorest people get taxed 20% of their income, and the richest people get taxed 20%. And in theory,
really?
that's fair, right? But if these
Well-
people get richer and richer, there, and then they also
Well,
can
they
afford
figure-
they can afford accountants that make that money, so they only end up paying 1% of that. But
Well, they just keep putting it back. Like there's all. If you learn how to do it right,
Yeah.
everybody can be doing that.
I
right?
mean, I think the primary concern of I think the primary concern that's kind of come out through the Occupy movement, if you're going to boil it down to one thing, is the influence that corporations and business have through political donations on policy making in the States.
Yes, but if you're a politician and I've just given you $2 million, don't I have some kind of say in what you vote?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so I think they're trying
which is bad. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if one individual, one corporation can give 2 million, 5 million, 10 million as happens, and say, well, make sure this bill doesn't get passed, then essentially they're, voting a million times over rather than getting one vote. And I think that's what it boils down to. And amongst that, there's a raft of other concerns such as, healthcare, free education, social support sort of services that are really, there's a lot of kind of parallels drawn between Canada and Australia in terms of our education and healthcare policies.
Yeah.
So, we're really fortunate, but in the States,
it's a nightmare.
Oh, student loans, it's terrifying, and the housing crisis, and it's a really scary place. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I agree that the majority of the power and in the government should not come from a small group of people, right? They're making decisions based on what they want and the money that they have. And the government should be separate from the majority of the wealth around the world, even. It is scary to think that they get to choose what happens all behind the scenes. And I guarantee that there's a group of probably 10 to 15 of the wealthiest men that you'll never even hear of who are running this planet. I don't know that for a fact, but I imagine there's people behind the scenes that you'll never even...
Yeah, with the quantities of money and vested interests.
Yeah.
I mean, it plays out all the time. In Australia, we've got some laws, but even that's being negotiated at the moment. Like, there's kind of people talking about tightening laws on terms of political donations and the transparency of those donations as well.
Mm-hmm.
But,
well, I mean it's crazy. Like, okay, in America this week, the big team up there, our version of the Senate or whatever, passed into law that pizza
is a vegetable.
Is a vegetable, and fries are a vegetable legally. Okay, so
because they're made out of potatoes, and a potato is a vegetable.
If a school is serving pizza, it's counted as the healthy food option. And it's pretty much that entire bill is pushed through by all the big pizza barons who want, all their pizzas sold in the schools,
That's ridiculous. And they're encouraging childhood obesity while they're at it.
Well, that's the people who make the diabetes medication pushing these laws through, as Campbell has just pointed out to us so wisely.
I think there's a great movie called Thank You for Smoking.
Absolutely.
And that's about this guy who's a tobacco.
That was a hell of a movie.
Yeah,
pusher guy. What are they called?
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Lobbyist, and he, and that's why tobacco still exists, because there's we look at why is marijuana illegal and tobacco legal. It's because marijuana doesn't have any lobbyists. If there was if there was some company, if there's some
guys need to organize,
what I wonder if some corporate in the few places in the world where marijuana is legal, if they build a corporation, right, that could afford to pay lobbyists to make it legal in other countries, right, suddenly would see a balance of the power. But because everyone got into tobacco first, those big companies that have for 100 years they've run their company on the success of tobacco, they can afford all these people to pressure other politicians to vote for, we'll have, we'll still allow tobacco, but say, okay, fine, we don't have any, just in Australia, they've banned graphics. So now what I'm guessing...
Yeah, well, it's just got passed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's
everything's going to be in, olive green packaging.
Yeah.
With gross pictures, so it won't even be gold. It'll just be, every packet will look exactly the same.
Yeah, so it's kind of like buying the home brand version. Every pack, it doesn't matter if you're paying for
I don't know what the point of that is. No one's going to... I mean, whatever.
Yeah, but the fact that, the tobacco company is still pretty pissed, but they're leaving a concession because saying, hey, at least it's sellable, we can't...
But it got heavy.
With that movie, though, I want to just point this out: that thank you for smoking. Did anybody else notice that not a single cigarette was lit in that movie?
Really?
Not a single cigarette was smoked in there. Just saying.
The other interesting thing
I
was that
smoked a lot of cigarettes when I watched that movie, though. Holy cow.
the funny thing, and I think it's in the trailer, was like, is it Aaron Eckhart? I can't remember his name. He's like, it's within tobacco's interest to keep our customers alive. Why would we want them to die?
Yep.
We want them to live longer so they can smoke more and buy more of our products.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Anyway.
Yeah, we got pretty serious. So do we have... What's on our show notes?
Okay, well, I have some questions. Well, you guys have some stuff we're going to talk about and discuss, but I've got some questions that I'm particularly curious about. There's Canada. Last week we talked about
What is...
Is that a question? Canada?
Canada, yeah.
Should we change
fictional-
our name as
To
an
fit in
entire
with
country?
every other
Yeah.
nation in the world.
Because Canadians should live in Canada, just like Australians live in Australia.
Indians live in India.
Yeah.
Americans live in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, wait. Shut up. Americaya.
So, all right. Well, last week I should have brought it up maybe last week, but we talked about how can you tell other Canadian dialects, like if someone lives in a different province to you. Right?
Apart from the French ones.
Well, that's what I was about to ask, right?
Oh, sorry. Oh, shut up.
Because obviously, in England, you go from, a few kilometres down to Liverpool and they've suddenly got a completely different accent.
Yeah.
But, of course, in Canada, you're a bilingual nation, right? You've got French Canada.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So what's that all about?
I've actually
French Canada?
only taken my first trip to Quebec. This
So
past
Quebec
year.
is the predominantly French-speaking
Yeah.
It is.
province. You call them provinces?
Yes.
Yeah.
You never got into the whole state thing?
No, they actually want to separate. From
What,
Canada.
right now?
Yeah.
There's
All the time.
There's a small group of them that want to be a separate
Nation.
place, not
Yeah.
a separate nation.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of like WA. We here want to be separate from
Do you really though?
Australia, yeah. We
Yeah.
passed it in a referendum, but the Queen said no. Or the King at the time. I
Yeah,
think.
when was that? Like 100 years ago?
50 years ago. Well,
50. All right. Really? 50?
it was around the World War II
Shut
time.
up.
yeah.
Really?
Which is, well, actually, when I was a kid, it was 50. It's probably
70-ish.
like 60 or 70 now, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's living memory, though. That's not a long time ago.
No,
By any
that's
means.
still in people's
Yeah,
heads.
I mean, we've had, okay,
people are still thinking
in the
about it.
50 years before that, right, the successful one, they had a few that got rejected, just broke, and then they finally got one that passed, and they went to the king or the queen, I don't know who was in power at the time, and said, hey, we want to be our own country, and she's like, no. So we can't.
Oh, it's her right
Unless we
to.
start war with Britain, we can't.
Yeah. I don't think they'd bother fighting back.
Really? We've tried. Quebec keeps trying to leave, and we keep saying go, but there are people
The
keep
king's
like, well, yeah. I think the last referendum we had, it was voted down at like 50.6% to 49.4.
So who gets the vote? Just Quebecans?
Just Quebec.
Just Quebec,
Yeah,
okay.
if the rest of the country had their say, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
My girlfriend and her family are actually from Quebec.
So
What do you
she-
call them? Quebecians? Or French Canadians?
Just French
French Canadians.
Yeah.
French
or
Canadians?
Yeah.
Quebecers.
Quebec. That's all.
Quebecers? Okay.
Is that derogatory? Quebecers?
Absolutely, I think
Yeah.
so. I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
It sounds. I can hear it.
There's
I don't
a-
know anything about Canada, but I can hear that. That's
Yeah, it's
like,
not
put
proper.
You
down.
put
by any means.
ERS on anything, it's derogatory.
Yeah. So, but she's from. She's
She
she's
was
a.
born in Germany, but her
Oh.
family has lived in Quebec most of their lives.
Yeah.
She speaks French fluently,
Hot.
and her family was part of the majority that voted no. And she actually remembers being at the rallies with NON painted on her face because her family's view was that they wanted to stay a part of Canada.
Then why don't they allow English in their country, in their province? No, they don't. There's no in Canada. It is law that if you have a Canadian sign, it has to be French underneath it in exactly the same text,
Yeah.
same like size and everything.
font point,
But you
whatever.
go to Quebec, and you don't even have to put English on anything over there. So you explain that one to me if you can, if you don't mind.
I don't know. I've only been there once.
I know, but you've been there more than I have.
Okay, so,
So I'm just
did you
curious.
have to learn French in school?
Oh yeah.
Are you guys bilingual?
I did. I had to learn up to grade 7, and it was optional after that.
Did you keep going?
No.
No.
I took it up to grade... Well, that's not true. I guess I took it up to grade 9. And I can't speak a lick of French.
So you don't have any French speakers to practice with? Do other kids in your class take it on full on and become fluent?
It's very rare where we're from to have
like-
it. Yeah.
There are
spit on
French
the French
immersion schools, absolutely. I have known a few people that have gone to a French immersion school where
It's just
where
all
it's
French.
English at home, like in your home life, but when you go to school, it's all French and nothing but. So then you learn the French language, and so now you're
Oh,
bilingual.
Yeah.
However, yeah, in where I come from, I've never seen anybody pass like grade 9. Like people still take it, but I think it's just for extra credit.
yeah.
I was
Okay.
homeschooled a lot growing up.
Yeah.
So I went to school in grade 1, but don't remember doing French. And then I was homeschooled up until grade 6. When I went into grade 6, I remember attempting to sit in French class, and the teacher was making me read from some text, and I was really embarrassed because I knew nothing about pronunciation or anything. I was just winging it.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
that's right.
And so did that kind of put you off a bit?
It did put me off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
felt kind of singled out because I was homeschooled. I didn't have to learn French through my parents. They didn't speak French.
And a
so-
bit of new kid kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's interesting because it was mandatory for up to grade 7 for me, and then it was optional after that.
Yeah.
But
I
mandatory.
wasn't in the school system though.
But yeah, but I still had to pass every French class that I took to move on to the next grade.
Yeah.
Which is surprising that in homeschool, because I have a couple of cousins that were homeschooled and they had to learn a second language.
So when did you start French? What year?
Grade 3 or 4.
3 or 4, okay.
And was it because, like, in primary school, we had to learn Japanese, and it was token as fuck. It was like 1 hour a week. Can you imagine what you're going to get done in primary school 1 hour a week?
And when
Fuck
did you
that.
start?
Year 5, I think, through to 7.
Okay. I think
Forget about it.
we did Italian years 6 and 7.
Yeah, it would have been the same sort of program. Maybe it was just 6 and 7. How intense? Like, what's,
Oh, we were 3 times a week. Like, it was mandatory.
Yeah,
Like,
so
we had
it
a
was a
final.
thing.
You
Yeah.
had a final exam
yeah,
in French.
okay.
You
So it's serious. You couldn't because with the Japanese, we just
Yeah.
Now, can
Oh
you,
yeah, ours
about
was
it.
serious.
can you tune into French TV channels where you live?
Yeah. One of our basic cable, which is the lowest package you can get, goes up to like 20 or so channels, and there's always one French channel for sure that's straight French. I believe it's like channel 6 or 7.
I don't watch enough television to know
And do you
that
get
answer.
French Canadian shows or just French shows from anywhere in the world?
I think it's CBC, which is Canadian broadcast.
It's just the French version.
Yeah, but it's all in French, so I don't really watch it.
Okay.
when you guys go to New Zealand next, there's been a big push. I don't know. I guess maybe since the 70s, I think, or the 60s, to sort of, I guess, as part of reconciliation with the Maori population. Obviously, New Zealand was in a similar position to a lot of countries that were colonized by European settlers. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, where the indigenous population was really pushed to its limits. But in recent times, they've been trying to make amends, and so all the signage there is in Maori as well as English. You can see that, and there's Maori TV stations that are just like flat out in Maori, so they're really cool to check out if you're there.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
But it's fun to watch, and it's an interesting language as well.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it looks very technical, like a lot of silent syllables and just weird pronunciations.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take? Can you
Nothing.
do you understand any
Nothing.
of it? Nothing.
Nothing. My parents are white ass, so it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, my mom's French. And
What, really?
Yeah. Yeah, my mom...
Canadian French or French?
Canadian French.
Really?
But yeah, I don't... Even she can't speak the language.
So she grew up there and it was just like abandoned it? Or
Yeah, just done with it. She never grew up there, but she was French through her mother, I think. Poudrier.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm supposed to know French at some point in this life, I'm sure.
You're letting down the family name.
Yeah, but the French don't even like their own language, it seems like.
The French love it more than anything in the world.
Okay.
They're always fighting for it. They're like, you're not allowed to even say, like, I don't know what.
See, now when I went to France, I spent just a couple days there in Paris. If you told them you were Canadian and couldn't speak French, they just like almost wanted to spit on you. So you just lied to them and you told them you were American and they loved you because it didn't matter that you couldn't speak French. But our French in Canada doesn't even translate into their French.
It does roughly, but there is huge differences.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, so they don't even like our French because it's not.
Oh, okay. So the French don't like your French.
Oh, maybe.
yeah. Sorry.
Can you understand that?
I still don't speak French, man. I don't have a clue.
Okay, so here's an example.
But you might have had this conversation with a French speaker, Canadian French.
Oh,
My girlfriend can speak French, like Canadian French.
Yeah.
And I work with a guy who is from France.
Yeah.
At our Christmas party, I introduced him as Frenchie because that's what we called him.
That's original. It's
his
good.
nickname.
I worked with a guy called Dutchie once.
Yeah.
It was good, yeah.
Was he from
Dutch.
Was he
Yeah,
from
he was
France as well? But anyways, they could converse in French, but it was very choppy. It was uncertain the way they were talking to each other, and it doesn't directly translate very well.
Yeah, because just recently at work we had a woman who works for us, and she's from France and she's fluent in French. And we had a guy, I believe, a visitor come in from, I think he was from the Congo, and he was speaking French as well. And he needed someone to, he wanted to ask me some stuff, and we needed a translator. So I grabbed her, and they could barely communicate, but they were both speaking French,
Yeah.
But it's just, these dialects are so different.
sorry.
It's got a big crack in it. Watch out. Does it? Or am I imagining? No. Does it?
But is that like sometimes when you're on SBS and watching a Scottish TV show, they have to put subtitles?
They do or they don't?
They do. In some Irish shows, they put subtitles. So that
I think that's...
Is that different?
I get kind of pissed off when people do that.
Yeah. You want the opportunity to just try and understand yourself.
Yeah. And I also think, they are speaking English.
Yeah. My pet peeve, is when you're watching a French movie, right, and suddenly the characters start speaking English, but they stop putting the subtitles up.
Yeah.
And it takes me like a couple of seconds to realise, I should start paying attention to what they're saying instead of reading. And I always miss that and I have to rewind. So I wish they would just, if you're going to put subtitles on everything.
Yeah. And it would help if they're speaking French and there's English subtitles and they start speaking English, they put French subtitles.
Yeah. Now, in Australia, in Australia, going, at least for me, right, going to Sydney feels like I'm in a completely different country, right? Because they call pints schooners, as we've discussed.
Far out.
And they hate Australian rules football. They like rugby, So I feel like almost going like I'm going to New Zealand or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it that kind of culture clash there other than the language? Do they still like... I assume ice hockey's still pretty big in Montreal. They have a really famous hockey team, don't they?
Yeah, they have one of the biggest Canadian hockey team or biggest hockey franchises in the world.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it is the biggest with the most Stanley Cups to its name is the Montreal Canadiens. They've been around. They were part of the original six.
So what would they do if you guys really did separate? Would they have to change their name from Montreal Canadiens to Montreal Quebecans or something like that?
I'd never.
Would they even be allowed to? They wouldn't be allowed to play in the
because they're
league.
not the Canadians. They're the Canadiens, right? Because that's how you say. Like that's what it is. That's just the way they are.
It's permissible then.
Yeah.
Is there like
so
an
it would
accent
be?
over it, or?
It seems weird that the biggest Quebecian sports franchise says, isn't say, hey, we're Quebecans. We're the Canadians.
We're the Canadians. Well, I believe that might have been when Canada was first settled, Upper Canada and Lower Canada kind of style. So I think they just stuck with it.
Okay.
Down the old St. Lawrence there.
But it's an interesting point. If they did manage to separate,
They'd lose their biggest sporting franchise.
well, they probably would have to
That's not mine.
change their name or give up the team. I'm not sure.
But they
how that
couldn't
would work.
compete, could they?
They
wouldn't be allowed to compete.
No,
they
but
would be allowed to compete.
even though
you
it's
cannot
what,
get
it's,
rid
even
of
though
the
it's
most
called
storied franchise in hockey.
Well, I mean,
history.
they let American teams compete.
Oh,
so,
do they?
yeah.
Sorry, I know nothing about this. I
Oh,
assume it's like the
NHL.
AFL. Sorry.
Oh no, NHL is the National Hockey
National.
League. There's
And
30
there's-
teams. There's 7 in Canada and
Yeah.
23 in the
Oh.
It's
States.
the National Hockey League, but there's
okay,
actually
sorry.
more American teams than Canadian teams.
Okay,
Yes,
I
but
have no idea.
Still,
Sorry.
half the league is made out of Canadians,
Yeah.
Canadian-born players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
But it's when they say National Hockey League, it doesn't mean national as in the American national team. It was actually originally the Canadian national thing, and then it started slowly expanding into American, and suddenly American has more teams, right?
Well, they've also got bigger centers,
yeah.
right? And you need that million-plus kind of population to support your team.
Why don't we start by naming the original 6?
That was the Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs, Boston Bruins, New York Rangers,
Chicago Blackhawks?
Chicago Blackhawks, and there was somebody else. Now I feel retarded. Who we got? I feel like every time I do this, it's like naming the 7 dwarfs, and you always forget one of them, right?
It's sleepy.
It's sleepy.
But even
It's
then,
always-
I think 4 out of the 6 original teams were from America.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We only had
Really?
2 originally, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Well, what about
Oh, we have a similar situation when, like let's say, Sydney feels like a different country.
Yeah.
The AFL is trying to expand into that area, right? So they're adding 2 new teams from Brisbane and Sydney who don't even like AFL, right? But Tasmania, who is a lot smaller state but is a football state, doesn't even have 1 team.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's like they're purely going for the money rather than the passion. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of Tasmanians that are like, I want a football team.
Yeah.
And that's how they speak.
Yeah.
I want a football team. You hear them chanting over the ocean.
Anyway.
Yeah, I want a football team. But they all start. I mean, in the AFL, that all started in Melbourne, didn't it? The majority of the teams that exist now were once teams in Melbourne
Just
suburbs.
like the waffle is West Australian suburbs, but because obviously Melbourne had more people, that league took off, and waffle stayed just in Perth.
What if the waffle had
Take it over.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
and we'd seceded from
The other question I had, raising from last week, was we were talking about wild meats you could eat in Australia, and Wilson said that you guys actually eat a lot more wild meats over in Canada, and I was like, what meats do you eat?
What eats do you meet?
Yeah.
No, what meats do you eat?
Our new section. Eats
What
you
meats do you eat?
I'd say deer and elk are probably your top 2.
I'd say deer and moose.
Oh, deer and moose, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll have a top 3.
Deer, moose, elk.
Yeah.
Sorts of antlered beasts.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you guys, I think, already said that you haven't had baby seal.
We have not had baby seal yet.
Do you
Although-
feel that's like,
I like
on
that
your
yet.
bucket list?
Yet. There's a promise
I would
there.
like to. I feel like it's a really Canadian thing to do. So I think you may as well.
Yeah, if you're Canadian.
And I think last
I
week
think
we talked
anybody
about
should
how.
try. I want to try some of your northern crocodile.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've eaten bear.
Yeah.
Bear?
Fuck off.
What kind of bear?
Bears,
Honey bear?
we didn't
bear?
eat Pooh Bear. No, we didn't eat him.
I wish. I think this
Would
was
they taste
some
sweeter?
sort of black bear.
You don't even know. Like, what are this? Paint a picture. Were you in a steakhouse or did you go
No,
kill this
our friend Jeff.
thing?
Actually,
He fucking killed this thing. Wow.
With his bare hands. He's that kind of man.
He's got bare
huge.
hands.
Yeah.
He's
So from a
huge.
bear that he previously killed, he pulled them on and went and killed another
Yeah.
bear.
It's crazy. He's got bear gloves, which makes it an even match.
Yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
That's a fair fight.
What else have we eaten? Antelope.
Yeah. I make rabbit stew every once in a while.
Antelope.
Yeah.
Go out and shoot a rabbit on
What's
the
an
side of the road.
antelope?
What,
It's
hold on.
like an
Sorry,
anteater?
I'm confused.
Is that like another type
I'm
of
just
deer?
drawing a blank on antelope.
We call it a speed goat,
Ah.
and they live in little packs, and
They're dumb animals.
What's the one that
They run
Father
out in
Christmas
front of
has in
you.
the Northern Hemisphere?
It's a reindeer.
Reindeer.
reindeer. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Wait,
do have
I've
reindeer.
I've
Oh,
never
and there's
eaten one, though.
and we also have the caribou migration. I don't
the
think you're-
caribou.
Is that scary?
The
Is something you have to be
caribou
careful of?
Actually, they shut down all work in the North Alberta and North BC because of the caribou migration. Because it's so massive. Like it's
Is it one of the
thousands-
mega migrations in the world kind of thing?
Yeah, like that Daily Planet,
Yeah.
or not like that what is it, Blue Planet? Maybe that TV show. Yeah, that's
caribou.
The caribou migration across the north.
So everyone just sort of locks the door, stays inside, and just watches all these.
Well,
so it's like
they don't go.
You guys watch The Walking Dead, where they have those zombie packs that just pass herds?
This is pretty much in the
middle of nowhere.
Take
is it
10
grass
minutes.
plains?
Yeah.
The Great Plains.
Okay, so you've got Alberta, BC, and the Northwest Territories border.
Yeah.
Right there. And that's where the migration happens. They go north.
What's BC?
British Columbia.
British Columbia. Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it Columba?
No.
Columbia.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
But it's Canadians got all mixed up.
Yeah. I think yeah, it was in Planet Earth or whatever.
That's
Edinburgh
what it
one,
was.
yeah. And they were talking about how the caribou population's been like decimated, and how I think in like the 50s or something, some National Geographic writer went and viewed it, and he described the caribou herd or whatever as going from horizon point to horizon point as far as he could see, just this brown line. And now it's sort of a little bit sadder, but I'm still still mighty. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They shut down work for it. It's got to be
That's
huge.
good. It must be like the Melbourne Cup. Shut down work for the day.
I think last week we also mentioned how the Inuits like sucking on whale cubes.
Oh, what?
Frozen cubes of whale.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
I'm just making that up.
Maybe.
It sounds like something they would be into.
They just have cubes of whale meat that they keep frozen. They just suck on it like it's a lolly.
Like a popsicle.
Yeah.
It'd probably be super nutritious.
Yeah, good protein.
I think it's mainly the fat, the blubber,
Yeah.
I don't think that's on my bucket list.
Have you had any whale?
No. I have not had whale of any sort.
I had an opportunity in Japan and I didn't.
You're like,
I went over there all gung ho, going like, yeah, I'll try this. I got no problems with this.
yeah.
And I got to the restaurant and I was like, I can't actually order that.
Yeah.
Well,
I just had this pang of conscience.
Before they sold it to you, they used it for scientific research, so you never know what's going to be in it.
I don't believe that. Yeah. Maybe next year, after this next whale hunt, after they pull another 300 or whatever out of the oceans, Japan will be like, holy shit, we just cured AIDS.
Yeah.
With all this whale research, and the world will have to go, oh yeah, sorry about that back then. But until then, like, I don't know, I'm not so sure about this whale hunt.
So next in line for topics, that was it. Do you have any questions? Can we have before we go?
Yeah, look, I want just a bit more about the meat, just quickly.
Yeah.
Is this stuff in the supermarkets, or is this stuff Hunter Pals bagging? And
one of our friends who hunts all legally. He gets the appropriate paperwork and all that stuff. He's always got a freezer full of stuff that he makes himself or gets made, like sausages.
I think that's wonderful. That's fantastic.
Mince, roasts, beef jerky, stuff like that.
And I think I've never gone hunting or anything, but I imagine how proud would you be? Being able to provide meat to people. I think I'd be really proud.
I guess so.
I'd be like, fucking look at this shit.
And
you want sausages? I fucking got this out of the forest, and now it's a sausage, and you're eating it. Like,
and that there's no.
We don't have anything like that over here, so
it's something to be like manly about. You're absolutely right. You're like,
I pound my chest and
get
all my friends over.
You provided. I have food.
Yeah,
and you get the barbecue going and the spit, baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's the big thing, isn't it? It's like one of the, it's like shelter food fucking. Like, if you're doing one of them, like, you're pretty chuffed. Yeah.
And, what if you did all in one day?
Or if you did all at once?
He does.
You test trials would just overflow and you just explode. You get the biggest blue balls and
I don't know.
I'm afraid for this old lady, actually, because she's just going to take a dirty load one day, I'm sure, just with that sheer testosterone buildup.
But to answer your question, also, it's also a good feeling eating it, knowing that there's nothing pumped into it. No, they were eating what's in the forest, and now we're eating them.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good feeling as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a pretty interesting Louis Theroux documentary.
Is it Louis or Louis?
Louis?
I thought it was Louis.
Louis Theroux. I don't even know how to say Theroux either, so I probably got it all wrong.
I wasn't going to call you on that one.
And he goes to South Africa, and where you can go on these game ranches, you can go shoot, and you pay more for the animal you want to kill. So if you can kill a rabbit for like $50, right, or a hare, I think they call them over there, but then if you want to kill the pride lion of the lion, the king male of the lion pack, you have to pay like $1 million to kill him. But as long as you got the money, you can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But then they sort of follow this guy around and he gets to shoot, and he shoots this guy, and it's just like he shoots and he's like,
He shoots a guy.
no,
yeah, this
he
farm's
That's a
crazy,
dude.
man.
How much?
It's like $2 million, and
How
you
much
can,
did he have to pay to shoot a guy?
I think that's $2 million. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Just
Jeff-
get one of the darkies, and it's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Jeff.
Wow.
Well, he also went and explored the racist side of South Africa. That's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
the subject.
I know that Jeff has been to South Africa.
And he shot a dude.
He shot a zebra. He's got it. I'm not
Shot
sure.
a zebra?
Yeah, he's got it hanging on his wall.
And they let him bring it back to Canada.
What does zebra meat taste like? Did he eat it?
I don't think he ate it. He skinned it, and it's now hanging.
Oh, so the whole thing, not just the head.
The whole thing. I've worn it as a giant like skin.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they let him bring... Obviously, they let him bring it back. Because that shit wouldn't fly here.
No,
Like, customs would scoop that
Yeah.
up.
No,
just
you
like
are
that.
They'll take it home to their kids.
very strict about
We are
what we
so
bring
full
into.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, before I left Mexico, when I was in Mexico, I rang Australian Customs and I was like, look, there's a boot shop down the road. They've got alligator skin boots, snake skin boots, elephant skin boots. Oh, not elephant, ostrich skin. You know, I was like, just let me know. I don't want to buy these boots and then, like, have you guys bust me. And they were like, no, they should all be okay because they're all farmed and whatever.
So did you get some boots?
Yeah.
And they were fine?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
End of the story.
That's solid, though. That was some good
But
thinking.
I was like, yeah, because I don't want to buy like a $300 pair of boots and get them home, and then customers be like, you should fucking know better, cunt. Where have you been all your fucking life? And throw them in the bin, because that's what they're like at customs.
Yeah, man. They're rough over there.
Yeah.
So you guys don't have any trophies in your wall?
Not a hunter. It's a rather expensive sport.
Yeah.
With the permits and...
Well, just buying guns, and because once you buy a gun, then you need trigger locks or safes and ammunition and tags and cleaning. And
oils and... all that.
All that just for a bit of shooting.
Yeah, if you buy one gun and one box of ammo, and you can go, maybe just kill half of the animals with that one box, yeah, I'm sure you could justify your...
Yeah.
We don't even call it hunting in Australia. You go for a bit of shooting. Bit of shooting.
Oh.
Go a bit of shooting of a roo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rooshooting.
Or some boar. And you need a pig dog.
I think boar would probably be delicious. Wild
Boar's
boar.
pretty good.
Oh, look. Someone calculated how many bullets we would need to kill all the wild boar in Australia, and it's more than the entire US military has in stock.
I don't believe that myself. I've heard that statistic before, and I've never believed it.
Do you think
I
it's
want you
because-
to explain Nick the math so that he can put it on the whiteboard so that we can see how you came to this understanding
Yeah.
I
while
think-
we're doing this.
I just saw it in a documentary, and I was just like,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
Is it because
That's good enough for me.
each boar would take more than one bullet? 'Cause
No, that's
they're
if you
tough as
had one
fuck?
for each, and then they interviewed the pig hunters, and they were like, "Oh, you need more than one bullet, so it's impossible. So we need to find alternative solutions to killing off the wild boar population because they're ferals in Australia. I don't know about in Canada, but they're like bad for the environment here.
Flamethrowers.
Yeah,
You cook and kill at the same time.
Oh, double whammy.
and we met some pig hunters once, and they were talking about how basically you
We
go for a few pig dogs, so you have to keep breeding these dogs so they can
Yeah,
kill
these
dogs,
dogs.
and the
And the four-wheel
boars kill
drives.
them, and then
The four-wheel drives.
They blow
and all
up
the
while
tires
yeah.
that you got to go through.
yeah,
It's
it's
it
heavy.
sounded...
Sounded like
Yeah.
you just need some napalm and some,
Yeah, just clear the
Nice.
forest.
We
cook
also have a
and
lot of
kill.
wild camels. You can go out and shoot a camel in the desert in Australia.
Really?
Yeah,
But actually, camels do a lot less damage to the environment because they're sort of suited to that.
on
Yeah.
the soft hooved. aren't
Yeah.
they?
They're
Like
probably the
toad.
only feral animal in Australia that's not that bad.
They
Catastrophic.
give but it's more of an inconvenience for the remote community, the human population, than the animal population, I believe, because they feel like a niche that no other animal does out there, so they're not competing.
Yeah.
And I think they eat slightly different branches and foliage than other animals.
Hmm.
But like dozens of them, or 100 of them, will come into town, and all the males are in heat, and they'll just like roam through the town
Yeah.
and like fuck shit up.
The kangaroos do that as well. When the females are in heat, the kangaroos go crazy, and literally towns you have to lock your doors because the kangaroos will come to your door. And these out in the desert, they're like as
Big.
tall as you. And you've seen videos on YouTube, they're punching you out. They'll knock you the crap out.
Oh, yeah, man.
And they don't even show you what the claws do, because the claws just go and rip out your
Well,
innards.
those are the little ones. Yeah, the ones on the feet are the ones you
Yeah.
gotta watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bastards lean on their tails.
Yeah, and they kick the
Disembowel you.
shit out of you. Yeah.
And I thought it was just I thought it was like a myth. You
Didn't
know,
one of them
those
kill your
Australian myths.
dog?
No, he tried to.
Tried to drown your dog, didn't it?
No,
Or was
no.
it?
Okay, well, yes. I've had two incidents with a a dog where my dog started chasing a kangaroo, right? This is out in the wheat belt, and luckily my dog hit a fence that the kangaroo could jump over, and that my dog couldn't. So they sort of stopped each other and were growling, right?
Yeah.
And my uncle was just like, "Man, your dog was like 5 seconds from death, because if that kangaroo had jumped, come back on the offensive before the dog went on the other side, it would have just he's had lost lots of dogs where it just ripped out its innards with the claws." But the craziest thing was our neighbour on the farm. He was out patrolling this salt lake, right, which actually had water in it at the time from a flood. And they were out there checking there's no sheep stuck in the mud. And these kangaroos came up, basically herded their dog into a corner of the mud flat and tried to jumped on it and tried to push its head under the water and drown the dog. Like, it wasn't trying to rip it up. It was actually understood the concept of drowning and knew that if it pushed the dog's head under the ground, it would drown.
Yeah.
That's a real story. That's not even like a wild tale. That actually happened to one connection away from me. There wasn't like a friend of a friend saying that.
Yeah. That's scary that they're intelligent and...
And then it went home and it cheated on its tax return.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole. 1% kangaroo. You know?
But
There you go.
with kangaroos,
Occupy
it's
the
all
desert.
about whether they're on heat or not, you know?
Yeah.
If the women aren't wanting it, everyone's fine, safe. The cuddliest animals in the world, you know? As soon as
They are pretty cool.
get a bit of
mellow.
a sniff of the pheromones, they're just like, I'm going to kill everything in sight, you know?
Yeah.
Just try. Well, see, I think Pamela Anderson does that to most men too in Canada, because
Well, that's segueing into our next subject, isn't
Oh,
it?
what's the next subject?
Canadian women. Last week we talked a bit
Well,
about...
is she a
Australian
Canadian lady?
Oh,
Is she?
absolutely.
women.
I think
she
she's
is
one
the
of
Canadian
our
of all
hottest
Canadian ladies.
exports.
She's the number one Canadian
Found
lady.
at a football game.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky for her.
Yep.
She's done alright out of it
She's
all.
been in some amateur porn scandals.
What? No.
More than
Really?
one. That
Multiple?
makes it quite unique.
Scandals.
You've never, Oh, come on.
What
Everybody's
others?
heard of it.
Well, yeah, but you said scandals.
No, I think it's just one. The
Oh, okay.
Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson scandal.
Yeah. On the boat.
No, she was in with some other guy from
Oh,
a
she's
band.
been with many guys, James.
Yeah, but there's more than one. There's more than one sex tape of her with different guys released.
Oh, probably.
Probably,
but
I bet
she
you
was
I
the
think-
very first leaked sex
Yeah,
tape.
before there was an internet, so you distributed it on VHS, before
Yeah.
DVD.
That was VHS.
Yeah,
days
it was,
still,
and
wasn't
then all
it?
of
It
a
was
sudden-
the cusp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it was like right on the border of...
Well, I think you still had dial-up internet at that
Yeah.
time, so it took
Yeah, you're
forever
right.
to get that porn.
You are right.
Didn't you do a sex tape with Brett Michaels as well?
From Poison?
Yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm thinking she
Really?
might have. Yeah, it might have been her thing. I don't know.
Sex tapes with rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So what
It doesn't
was
surprise
Tommy
me.
Lee in a band?
Yes.
Tommy, yes.
What band?
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a Canadian band?
No?
No.
Oh.
But they are fairly world renowned. I'd
Yeah.
say.
No, I have heard of Motley Crue.
Yeah.
I only know him from
Okay.
a sex tape. I'm not into that.
And intimately by the sounds
He's
of it
that
too,
dude from the
James.
sex tape, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's all you know. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably...
Rather
Yeah.
hot women. Rachel McAdams is
Yeah.
Canadian.
She's actually probably the hottest woman like on cinema I've ever seen.
She is.
She's my number
gorgeous.
one.
Yeah.
Probably.
Are you gonna
Number one.
bring up some pictures as we?
I mean, like excluding like genre women, like say Princess Leia.
fictional
Genre,
women.
you mean fictional characters?
As in, like, you know, I could watch a bad Rachel McAdams and still go, "Wow, she's hot." You know, I probably couldn't watch
So
a bad
you've enjoyed the Notebook
Carrie Fisher.
more than once?
What?
You've enjoyed the Notebook more than once then?
What about Rachel
Uh,
McAdams in a gold bikini?
Well, that would be the
With her
ultimate, wouldn't
hair in a bun and those side
Being
buns?
done by Tommy Lee.
it? Yeah. I somehow have to get
On a
famous.
boat.
enough.
With dial-up internet connection.
Oh.
That would just be weird.
Are you gonna look these women up as we talk about them so we can kind of
Oh, you want actual visual stimulation?
It'd help. I mean, I know who Rachel McAdams is, but we might start entering grey territory.
further down the line?
Yeah.
No, Cam will know the next one. Next one is his favourite.
Oh,
Oh, well, good. All right.
So, what do we? What's your favourite Rachel McAdams movie?
I don't really
Hey, me.
follow
Oh, all
her
of you.
as an actress.
All right, you're not into. I see. I only got
Really?
to, I
She was
thought
in Wedding Crashers, wasn't she?
Yeah, I
like
love her
that
in
show.
Wedding
She was?
Crashers.
Yeah, she was the
Yours
stage
is
5. No, she
No.
That
was
was her
stage.
sister.
That's
Yeah.
the girl from Perth, Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher, yeah.
Mine would have been Sherlock Holmes.
Not Notebook?
Not The Notebook. No, I got the opportunity to watch The Notebook with my girlfriend, and I wanted to shoot Rachel McAdams and her mother. I wanted to bury them both. I wanted to stomp on their heads like that kangaroo story James was telling us. I hated
Drown
that
them in the mud.
fucking... Pardon my language. I hated her. But yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
James? Favourite McAdams?
Well, I would say, yeah, Wedding Crashers. I really liked her in that. Have you guys seen, what's it, Red Eye? Well, she's like the actual lead actress in that. That's pretty cool.
I don't think
As a leading lady, she's pretty cool in that.
What's
Yeah.
Red Eye
But you know
about?
the thing about Sherlock Holmes, at least the version I saw of that film, she was wearing more clothes in the actual film than she was in the trailer. Like, they cut all out they kept all the skimpy scenes for the trailer for some reason.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I don't know. There's just something about that woman, though.
She's also, if you want to see her naked, she's in some weird Italian movie before she was famous.
Oh, really?
Hey, everyone's getting out their phones for that.
It looks like
Well, I've got this one. This screenshot is censored, but
Just
I mean,
put your
that's-
phone away, guys. I got it on VHS for you.
yeah.
That just says nothing for me.
No.
No,
But she's
no.
not. She's more pretty when she's got clothes on. Like not. She's not.
I'm pretty.
You're such
I
a
mean,
charmer, James.
I'm pretty.
The ladies love you.
desensitized
You're
anyway.
pretty.
But you know,
with
like
your
Pamela
clothes.
Anderson, she doesn't have like fake breasts like Pamela Anderson or
No,
going
she's
for her.
she's like a real.
Girl
she's
next
a woman.
door.
Yeah, she's.
I remember people like when we saw.
Fuck, she's only 5 years older than me. Pardon?
I thought you were going to say she's only 5 years old.
No, but
That's
she
creepy.
started acting at the age of 4.
Oh.
So is that enough about Rachel?
Yeah.
I'd say.
Next on your list is Evangeline Lilly,
Oh,
if that's how you pronounce it. Lally.
yes. Oh, I don't
Yes,
know.
From Lost.
Who I didn't even know she was Canadian.
Oh. Yeah.
And
from
Campbell's
Lost.
were missing. Who is it? Kate? She
Kate.
played
She played
Yeah.
Kate, yeah.
Yeah.
the main girl.
Yep.
She's a bit of a smoke show. As in,
What does
She
that
also
mean?
has manly shoulders.
I don't know what that means.
she's gorgeous.
Oh, a
Smoke
smoke
show.
show. Okay.
Yeah, like
Is that what
really
Canadians?
Ah, is that a phrase in Canada?
hot.
I'm not trying to pick it apart.
No,
I don't think I've ever heard it.
I don't know if it's known to be Canadian, but I've
Smoke
heard it.
show.
It's like how we
thrown
call
around.
certain women Bam Bams.
Yeah, James does.
Is that because you want to?
I don't think I've ever heard anyone except you.
Is that because you want to hit them twice? Or
Yeah.
Fun? No, just because they're a bit on the edge. You know what I mean? It's like flip a coin, they could be a whore. Flip a coin, they could be a world famous actress. You know. And they're a Bam Bam.
So they're
I don't know how
they're
that connects to the
they're-
name, but
they're hot, but they could be totally slutty and whorish.
Yeah.
or-
like
or they could
Paris
be
Hilton.
classy.
Paris Hilton's the quintessential Bam Bam.
And
And then she's got you got like Britney Spears. No, they don't have to be hot.
Oh, okay. I thought
That's
the
what
whole
I'm trying to
herpes
decipher.
thing
Smoke
really
show. Does
turned
that mean
everybody
like
off.
they're hot because they look pretty on a magazine cover, or they look hot because you like to open the flaps and see
Or
what's
are we
inside?
are we dissecting this too much?
Yes, I think so.
I think so.
I think she
Although,
would be hot.
Isn't this
anyway.
what fagging around's all about?
Yeah.
I think
I thought it might be a smoke and mirrors show. I thought that's what you might have been alluding
All right,
to.
yeah,
It used to be a
exactly.
smoke
So
show.
Paris Hilton puts on a lot of makeup, but then
Yeah. Behind the scenes, she's a troll.
yeah.
I
I
can
don't
see why
think
that
so.
would be
I
confusing.
think
we
Smoke
use smoke
show.
show as in like, wow.
Smoking. Like
Yeah,
smoking hot.
like-
Smoking
Yeah.
hot.
Like
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, another sweet Canadian.
He's
in the
smoking hot.
mask,
Yeah.
right? No, because he's smoking
Oh, yeah,
from
yeah.
the mask. Come on.
Yeah.
I think he's funny. I don't find him attractive.
Evangeline Lilly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Lost. Yep. So
I didn't like the way it ended, but she made it worthwhile.
no, I didn't like the way it ended.
But
In fact, it peaked at season 2, and it was all downhill. But I still love it.
But we
as
did
soon
have
as they started traveling back in time, I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
fuck
for
that! Yeah,
fuck's
that was too much.
sakes.
That was way too much.
And then shit got really weird. But anyway,
Alicia Cuthbert. Is that am I saying that right?
Elisha.
Yeah.
Elisha?
Alicia.
Who's that? Is she one?
She's the girl from The Girl Next Door. You'd know her from.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Another
porn
Canadian.
star.
But I don't know.
It is.
The porn star who wasn't a porn star.
I don't know what else. I watch it. She's in a TV show that I watch now, but it's not a very good TV show. I only watch it called Happy Accidents. It's called.
She's also, I don't know if she's still dating Dion Phaneuf.
Who is
Who's that? Who's that?
Oh, he is
a
the
French
captain
Canadian?
of the Toronto Maple Leafs. No, he was born in somewhere in between Edmonton and Calgary. I think I don't know. He played for Red Deer, but
Yeah, he's a professional hockey player.
yeah.
How are hockey players viewed in Canada? Are they generally douchebags?
No, there's a lot of really nice,
Or really stand-up dudes?
really stand-up
All
guys.
Canadians are nice. What do you
Well,
mean?
I know that, but yeah, okay, that was a stupid question. I mean, James, you're a big AFL fan, obviously. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
How do you view AFL players, James?
I just figure everyone who's not a West Coast Eagle is a douche.
Okay.
That's how you sort of think about it.
All right.
Oh,
But then there are douches within the team.
Oh,
that
hold
seem
on,
to be
like who?
just people who seem to get a status for no reason. Like,
What do you mean, like Ben Cousins? What are you
no,
trying to
he's
say?
awesome. He's the.
Isn't
Do you know
he
Ben Cousins?
I
Isn't
thought you
he a
didn't
junkie?
follow.
Everyone knows Ben Cousins.
Isn't he
famous
a,
the world
Everyone
over,
in
yeah.
Australia knows Ben Cousins.
He went to like, they sent him off to like rehab in America when he was on a junkie.
He was
Then
like
he'd
this. He
hang
was
out
like
with all
this
these-
golden child
and porn
of
stars and-
Western Australian
Yeah.
football, of just
Oh, he still
Australian
is.
football. Yeah, he still is.
He would come here and you'd be like, well, he's like the Gretzky of that Western Australia, you know.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But he's also a drug addict. So
meth addict,
There's
yeah.
that sort of evil
trying to
pill side. What do you call it?
Dr. Jekyll.
Side of evil, Doctor. Yeah, to him, you know,
The
touch of evil
yeah,
to him.
So he's like Grant Fuhr.
Yeah, on Bill Ranford. Yeah, a lot of drugs those two did during the
While they played.
while they played. Actually,
Yeah, but like always brought their A game, right?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the same with this dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did they get caught?
Everybody
Eventually.
turned a blind eye to it.
But after they retired.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk after they retired, but at the time, I don't think anybody really cared.
All right.
It was like,
Why they were winning?
But what were what else was at the peak of his addiction? He was. What was the big thing that blew up? It was that phone conversation he had. Who was it with? And they were talking about getting on the horse chair.
No, that was Daniel Kerr.
Oh, was it Daniel? That was
Yeah.
someone completely
The
different.
Special
was it?
K.
The Special K. The horse,
horse
tranquilizers.
tranquilizer, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Getting it.
I've
You've
done-
had that?
Yeah, I have.
Is it worthwhile?
I've only done it once, and it was definitely a different experience.
Yeah. My partner did it once, and she said it was just nasty as fuck.
Yeah. I think if you do too much, it's called K-holing. You
That doesn't
basically,
sound-
no, it's
You
not.
fall
You-
into a
yeah, you basically
virtual hole. Yeah,
It feels like you're just falling, and
perpetually.
yeah, I don't know. I've never done that much, so. But back to our
Seems to know a little bit about it though.
our point about whether Canadian hockey stars are douches.
Ah, yes.
I want to bring up a certain point where in the AFL, every player is from Australia, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas a Canadian hockey team will be comprised of a couple of Canadians, a couple of Americans. You'll probably have some European players.
Some Russians.
It's not just because they're a Canadian team that they're going to have all Canadian players, which is kind of different.
Yeah.
We kind of had that here, like, you know, back when the West Coast Eagles started, it was almost like the West Australian national side. That was all WA players, but now
Yeah.
you have probably a lot of Victorians and people from all over the country.
Queensland and
Yeah,
anybody from Tasmania playing,
probably.
but they don't have their own team.
No.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit.
I know.
Fucking bullshit.
You should take that back to Canada and be like, start a petition
Occupy
in Canada.
that.
Yeah, Occupy AFL.
Yeah. From Canada.
Tasmania is the 1%.
Yeah, that's right. No, they're the 99. We're the that doesn't make it. There's no analogy that works.
No.
So
Any
next,
other hotties?
you basically got a top 5 here, right?
Yeah.
So
We
the
tried
next
to come up with the 5
Yeah.
awesomest
Yeah.
things on.
next one here is the only one I'm familiar with, which is Kristen
What
Krug.
about Rachel McAdams? Oh, you guys did.
Oh, the only one,
sorry.
huh?
You
Yeah,
guys brought your own top 5.
we kind of
We made our list.
Oh, okay.
This is-
Sorry. This is the pros. This is like,
Yeah.
all right, the expert, the panelists.
We did our homework.
Okay.
She's infamous for Smallville and Street Fighter. And obviously, you know, one of the pinnacle of Australian women was involved in Street Fighter as
Miss
well.
Minogue.
Cammy. She played Cammy.
I believe she did.
Yeah. Back
And
this is
who-
back in the JCVD version.
Yeah.
I assume Kristen Krug was not from the JCVD.
She is not actually. We've got it in 09. The
Yeah.
Legend of
Ah.
Chun-Li.
Oh, is she the Asian
Probably.
girl?
Yeah, Asian looking.
Yeah.
Oh, Asian. Like, controversy as to whether she actually is Asian.
Mm.
Well, she was born in
Like Olivia Munn.
Vancouver, so she
Yeah, what's
has.
the deal with Olivia Munn? Is
I
she
don't
Asian?
know. Apparently she was Asian, but then she changed the names, and now she considers
Isn't
herself.
she from Brazil?
I don't know.
Brazilian?
So what's this? You've got some IMDb.
I do actually. Just she was born in BC,
In
Vancouver. So when Vancouver is a designated.
It's a port city, so
There's a lot of
there's
Asians.
a lot of Asians.
Okay.
To be
Yeah, so
politically correct.
she definitely has the look to be Asian.
I've just been handed. Oh look, yeah. Okay, I've just had a look. What a sneaky look. Now,
Sneak peek.
I'll just defer this sort of
Judgment.
no, not the judgment, but just the racial clarification, perhaps to James Pontifex. I know James Pontifex. At one stage, maybe about 5 years ago, you came to me with the kind of, I guess, the proposition that there was one kind of genetic combination that featured the best of both worlds, as you said.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah, you said, I found it. It's the best of both worlds. It's the Eurasian.
Eurasian, yeah.
And I know you're big on Eurasian women.
Yeah.
And I think she probably fits into that category.
She probably does. I don't know her personally, so...
No. And there's what? It's all over the laptop.
Seriously?
No, there's nothing over there. Empty ice cube trays.
Yes.
Lids were on. This is why I keep shit locked up around electronics. None of this willy-nilly
After
cup
today.
open crap.
Bullshit.
No, it's
Why
the
am I
the hottest
downloading
girl
music?
that I ever met when I was young was half Filipino, half Australian, maybe.
Australian. You mean white Australian?
White Australian, yeah. Caucasian.
Do you
I
even
should
say it like that? It's like white Australian, like we say African American, or
Yeah, we talk about
Chinese-
ourselves as white Australian.
You're just white
No, I
Australian.
think correct term would be Caucasian, because probably not even Australian. But
White Caucasian people.
Oh,
and then there was an Australian guy actually went and make a documentary about. He figured all the girls he'd ever had crushed in his life were Eurasian, so he went to Asia and tried to say, look, find an Asian woman so that he would breed Eurasian children. That would be the hottest.
Why did he try to make hot children rather than
why,
find a
why
hot wife?
did he want hot
That's
children?
fucked up.
Well, I kind of wondered whether he thought maybe if you took out the Euro, just pure Asian would be even hotter. I don't know. He just wanted to go to the
What?
source.
that's the weirdest fucking story.
I mean, he went to Europe as well, so he tasted both sides of the...
so, but he tried to give the
both sides
world
of the
the
platter.
Euro-Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if he had children with a Eurasian,
Yeah.
they'd be like Eurasian. They'd be double the Euro.
But he also wanted
And only have
he wanted
8
to
fingers.
test out how far his attractions would go. So he went out with a Eurasian ladyboy in Thailand.
What?
Yeah, to see if he was still attracted, even though they're technically male.
Because I know Fred was big on the ladyboys when he went to Bangkok.
Yeah, Fred loves ladyboys. It's actually a great
I don't know
episode
how-
of
I
An
don't know
Idiot
how far.
Abroad, where Carl Pilkington goes to visit ladyboys. It's a
I
great
haven't seen
episode.
that.
Guys, go check it out.
I'm baffled. I'm gonna go and collect myself, and I'll be back in 2.
So, Fred,
No, look, I don't know. I don't think anything got intimate, but
Yeah.
was it a mistake or
I think he was touring the red light district. I don't want to. I'll speak for Fred now.
I wish he was
with
here.
I know with full understanding that I'm probably.
I think he
completely
was
wrong.
looking for a ping pong show, but he walked into the wrong show.
and he got chatting to a ladyboy
Yeah.
or two at the bar.
which can
and-
happen to anybody?
Yeah, they're everywhere. And it's okay for them to be around, not like kind of here, they'll probably get beaten up. But, one of the stories he said was that the ladyboys were the nicest people he met in Bangkok. Bangkok, sorry. They were the politest, the friendliest, the chattiest.
The only time I went to Thailand, the only time I saw a ladyboy was at the post office. It was run by ladyboys.
Really?
I wanted to post some postcards, and yeah,
Did you
the
post
whole
anything
operation
else?
was a ladyboy operation.
That would be the trippiest trip to the post office ever.
You wouldn't expect it, really, would you?
Because you just thought,
That's the
yeah.
last place that I expect to see ladyboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be at
Just
a
doing a
club
really
or-
boring postal job.
Yeah. Well, it's during the day, so maybe that's, during the day
Oh,
you have
yeah,
a regular
day
job.
job,
At
and
night,
then
you go
night
do
job.
what ladyboys do.
Best.
Yeah. We'll ask
Just
Fred.
confuse
You confuse
foreign
foreign.
people.
Be really polite to
Yeah.
foreign Australians.
But, when Carl Pilkington, his argument was like, he met these girls, and they didn't tell him which ones were real girls and which weren't. So he just thought they're not a bunch of girls. And then eventually he worked it out, and then he was sort of asking them, like, how far along are you in terms of the surgical procedures, Yeah. And some are like, they don't want to be female, they don't want to be male, they want to be a ladyboy. So they don't cut anything off. They want to be feminine
they probably
person
get
with a
implants,
penis.
right?
Yeah, probably. But then there's people who want to go the whole way, and he was just like, he met a nice person who had gone the whole way, had the full-on surgery, and he was just like, well, if I didn't have a girlfriend, she seems nice. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Wow,
but I don't know
it's a lot
how
more
effective
open-minded
surgery
than I
is.
thought he would be.
you'd think
I know,
it'd be
it was quite a surprising
Carl
moment
Pilkington.
in Calvin.
You'd think it'd be quite an expensive surgery.
They wind up in a lot of debt oftentimes and become,
You have to pay it off by paying with sex slaves and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a pretty rough situation.
But you
there
get
for
really,
them.
I know, the only people I know who've had breast implants flew to Thailand to get done, so I think you can get cheap medical surgeries done there.
Procedures.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me who that is after the show. Do I know this person?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Actresses.
I think
And
those
actually,
were
my friend's
quitting.
mum did it as well.
God.
It's tough to quit smoking when you pour water on a laptop.
We had a stressful day today.
Why don't you get lozenges? I hear nicotine lozenges are the coolest thing ever.
It's not like smoking cigarettes.
No. I probably should quit drinking as well as trying to quit smoking, because doing one without the other is pretty much impossible.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So that was all of the Canadian, not all of the Canadian babes, because there's a lot more.
Yeah.
We could only really
That was
talk
the
about
top
these.
five.
Yes,
Those
ladies.
were our top 5, yeah.
Yeah.
If any of the listeners have any suggestions, you can email
Well,
us
those
at
are your top
mailbag
5
at
celebrity
Fangin
ones,
Roundup.
right?
Yes.
Let's clarify. I mean, you guys in your personal lives know a lot of hot women. You don't want to.
We can't, you're right, we can't exclude them. Those are our...
Yeah. Those are your personal
our-
hotties.
Our personal top 5 celebrity hotties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so ladies at home aren't upset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not comparing our ladies at home to the celebrities,
No.
but these are the people
These are the ones that are out there for the international market.
that are on the internet and in everyday media.
Yeah.
So we talked about ladies. Let's talk about the guys.
Oh, what?
So who are your favourite Canadian men? You've got here number 1. Well, you haven't put it in any particular order, but John Candy,
Oh, yeah.
classic.
It's a wonderful export, that man. Canadian bacon.
Cool Runnings in Australia was huge. It was like Australia's
That
favourite movie.
film was... I don't know how it went everywhere else, but that Australia became obsessed with Cool
Yeah.
Runnings.
Well, do you
It was
remember
a
this?
great-
Suddenly, the next Winter Olympics, Australian had like 5 teams entering. No one had cared about it.
and I think we
before they
aired
stopped
it as
running.
well on
Yeah.
TV, which we'd
Yeah.
never done before.
Yeah.
That was the Calgary.
That was the Calgary Olympics. That when they showed up, when the Jamaicans showed up at the Calgary airport, that's what it was. That scene was filmed like that.
Really?
Because they'd never seen snow.
Really?
To my understanding, yeah, they filmed that right at the Calgary airport. And Buddy runs back in and puts all his clothes back on because it was that
Holy
cold.
shit.
The Australian bobsled team literally trains by go to the local supermarket and they get the shopping trolleys and it's nice smooth ground and they like push each other off and they jump in the shopping trolley and they go. "Meow."
And how did they do? In their
Not that great. We do have a woman. We have a
Their
woman
debut.
who does the skeleton who's pretty good,
Yeah.
which is where you go down head first by yourself with nobody else.
That's
but the bobsled team, I don't think gets through past the
what
semi-finals.
about our gold medal winning speed skater or whatever? Was
Yeah,
it a
we
speed
actually
skater?
have it.
That was
Well, yeah, we have an awesome speaker. He's Australian, but we've only got only 3 Australians have like won gold medals at the Winter Olympics, right?
Yeah.
One of them is an ex-Canadian.
That makes sense.
He's
An
probably
ex-Canadian?
considered- Yeah, he's probably considered
Dual
a traitor.
citizenship. It wasn't good enough to make the Canadian team.
Yeah, because
so he came down here.
And he came down here, and then he suddenly beat all the Canadians. And then we've got the good old Australian guy who won the gold medal. He's an ice skater when everyone else in the race fell over.
He was coming last, and
Yeah.
everyone else.
Literally.
He was coming last by so much,
Yeah.
and then there's a big stack, and everyone fell over,
Yeah.
and then he jumped over them and kept going.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
won.
And it was like one of the
It's-
greatest Olympic victories in history.
Well, for
Wow.
us,
Yeah.
Well,
It was
I've never
ridiculous.
He's
seen-
like our version of Cool Runnings, except he actually won.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it wasn't the sweet pride thing where they carried their sled across the line?
No.
No, he jumped
This
over
was-
the people who were trying
Yeah,
to crawl their way to the line.
Yeah. He didn't stop and help anyone.
No.
He is just like, fuck this.
Although, to be fair, in the Olympics, to be fair to him, the Olympics the 4 years earlier, he was actually the number one ranked person, and he fell over, and so he was like,
Oh, really?
fine, and so he felt just like the tables had switched, so that he came as the fourth best person in the world, and he was coming fourth, but then they fell over, so he came first. So it's just like even Stevens.
Was he the guy that, and in all the media, he'd be like, yeah, I never watch what I eat, I'm always smoking.
No,
and
that's the
drinking."
cyclist. Yeah,
Is he the cyclist, or is he
yeah,
the
he
high
was like
jumper?
sponsored by KFC, and he ate a bucket of KFC.
He just ate a bucket
But then
of KFC.
he won all his medals at one Olympics, and then no one ever saw him again. It was
No, because he ate too much KFC.
yeah, he ate too much KFC.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we had the epitome when, who was that guy? I think it was the guy that won the skeleton. He was walking down the road, and somebody handed him a jug of beer, and he just tipped her back. Just true champion style right there.
I like that. Yeah.
Because we're pretty good at drinking beer in Canada. That's one thing we really enjoy,
Drinking beer.
drinking beer.
What happened when John Candy died? Was it like a national?
Or
It
he kind of
wasn't-
disappeared a bit from...
Well, he disappeared from film and everything for a while, and from the media, and then he just kind of drifted off and was just. Everybody wanted to remember him for the good times that he was.
Yeah.
You know, with Canadian Bacon and Uncle Buck. I honestly,
Uncle
think
Buck, yeah.
Uncle Buck's got to be one of my favorite movies
Uncle Buck's crazy good.
because he's
Yeah.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
I want an Uncle Buck. I want that giant pancake in the middle.
Yeah. And he
So is that your favorite movie of his?
Of John Candy's? Yes, I would say so. It's Uncle Buck. Yeah.
Who else have we got on here?
Jim Carrey. We started discussing him earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
The Mask, Ace Ventura.
Oh, look.
Oh yeah,
Liar, Liar.
Dumb and Dumber, my favorite movie. Ever.
Yeah, I see.
Had
and
him
that
rolling in the aisles,
yeah,
crying
yeah. I
the
almost
cinema.
died.
because
during the pooing sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
pooing.
he loves poo
Yeah.
jokes more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it was.
Can't believe.
I literally I don't think it was even Jim Carrey, was it? It was
No, that was Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels. He
On the
couldn't get the
shitter.
toilet to flush.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just
Man,
shaving.
I lost it. And then they just ripped off that scene completely in that movie with Jennifer Aniston and Ben Stiller, but it was still that funny.
Oh, really?
What was that?
Jennifer Aniston.
Along
Ben
Came
Affleck.
Polly.
Yeah, along came Polly. Yeah, although they
Yeah.
possibly switched it. Was it Jennifer Aniston was on the toilet? Or was it no
Yeah, that was Jennifer Aniston.
on the toilet? Or was it Ben?
No,
Stiller
that
on
was
the
Ben
toilet?
Stiller
Oh,
on the
okay.
shitter.
Mm.
Dying out.
They switched in Bridesmaids, which we discussed, didn't it? The girls all crap there. Dax.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that is quite funny
But-
as well.
Mm.
It's nothing like people.
Yeah, well, Jim
Being
Carrey, I don't
incompetent.
know. He's tried his hands at some. He just needs to be a funny. I watched, though, at the same time, I've watched the very worst movie in my whole life that
Oh.
starred him. Oh, I can't even remember what it was called now, but it was like 40 minutes long. Rubberface. It was called Rubberface. I'm sure of it.
Rubberface.
And it was the worst movie in the whole world. It was like 40 minutes. It was like a short film, and it just sucked.
Was there a narrative?
No, it started with him doing stand-up, and he was trying to help another person do stand-up, so he just, like, forced her on stage, because he's like, I can't go on stage, I have laryngitis. And she went on, and
Sounds shit.
it was garbage. We watched it at a friend's birthday party.
Oh,
It was
disappointing.
it
to say the
was.
least. He was also in Man on the Moon, which is another one of your favorite films.
Oh
James.
yeah.
Doing
Oh,
a
that's
serious
that-
role. Well, a serious comedy role.
Andy
Yeah.
Kaufman, right?
Well, see, I was
And-
completely without the movie. Wouldn't even know who Kaufman is because he died before I was alive, probably.
And what was
Yeah.
that one where he was
But
in
it
the
was-
TV show?
The
TV?
Truman Show.
Truman Show.
Yeah, that was classic. It was directed by an Australian. Rubberface, 1981 television
1981.
movie made for CBC television,
Oh.
starring
Oh,
Jim Carrey.
What about the show 23? Was that a...
That was the Jim Carrey movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you-
discussing the very worst movie I've ever seen Jim Carrey in.
Oh, okay.
And that was this movie called Rubberface, and it was
The worst movie I've ever
fucking
seen was probably
awful.
he was in this movie called Copper Mountain, something like that.
Oh, I don't
That was
know.
before, that was when, back in the day, I didn't know what a director was. So I saw, they put Jim Carrey in the face. I was like, oh, that's got to be the best movie ever. And then I saw that movie was so bad, I was just like, oh my god, there must be something more to movies than just who the actor is.
Yeah.
That was the first movie that made me realize that.
I think I definitely appreciate him more as a
Copper Mountain in
comedian.
1983.
He's a very funny man, right?
Mm.
And I don't know, in his serious roles, he's kind of hard to take seriously because you see him in 90% comedies.
Well, every time you see him do some sort of serious role, I just think back to the Jaws scene where he's like, do not go in there.
When I was a kid, Ace Ventura was probably my favorite.
Yeah. I also loved Liar Liar.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Yeah.
That was one of those cinema movies where I went and saw it in the cinema, and I thought it was the funniest thing, but I got it on VHS and I was like, this is better with an audience,
Comedy always is.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got next? Who else is awesome
I've lost
with a
it.
penis?
we got a couple.
All right. Oh, Wayne Gretzky,
Gretzky.
who we've already
Wow.
referred to.
That's
I think I'll let...
What can you say?
I'll let Wilson field this question.
Oh,
Wayne Gretzky. What else? He's the greatest hockey player in the world. He's got the record for holding the most records. Like,
Yeah. we have a guy like that in Australia.
you must have somebody.
We have one guy called Don Bradman, who's like the greatest cricketer of all time.
is he the equivalent?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
'cause
the
I don't know,
equivalent,
yeah.
but Campbell
I know
doesn't
Brad.
understand. But like,
No, hey, look, I know Bradman. Fuck you.
oh, you've heard of him. And
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
heard,
yeah.
There's
And I
songs
know his
written
record.
by
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and
Everyone
TV
sperms
shows.
over him and gets
Yeah.
commemorative plates.
But
with
okay,
him.
he finished his career average for runs per innings was 99. The
That
closest
was his average.
Yeah, his closest
Average.
person to him is who is also an incredibly good player is like 57. So his average was double every other player that's ever played the game.
Which, I mean, yeah.
That's
It's bad. It's
disgusting.
absolutely
Yeah,
insane.
it was nuts.
that
And,
record.
he was like this freak, and Gretzky's the same. Like I listened to a lot of podcasts from America and Canada, and they both like whenever Gretzky comes up, I was like, oh my god, he's like this god.
He's the great one.
Yeah, the great one.
They don't call him the great one for
He
nothing.
lit the flame at the Olympics. That's the only
Yes,
first time I've
yeah.
only actually
Yeah.
seen him in real life.
They didn't even want him to do it.
Yeah.
What did he just
Well, the
push
people-
the other person?
No,
It's like,
I think it
fuck
was-
this. I'm doing it.
The people voted it or something, and they wanted Terry Fox's mother to write.
What?
To
Who's Terry Fox? You have to explain that.
Terry Fox.
Well,
I
no.
don't
Who's Terry
know if
Fox's mother? Why?
Well, Terry Fox had cancer, and
Oh.
he wanted to raise awareness and by running across Canada, but he only had one leg, and the other one was a prosthetic.
So he hopped across Canada.
Yes,
So
but
he's
he
famous. He's famous for running across Canada with one leg.
He
he never
started.
made it across
He
Canada.
started with 2 legs, I believe,
Oh.
and over time he lost one, and continued his journey, and never actually made it across.
But he had 2 real legs, or 1 real leg and 1 prosthetic leg.
He started with 2 real legs, and he lost
Yes.
one to cancer, and then he got a prosthetic.
As he ran across Canada.
Yes,
Yeah.
over time.
Oh, but he knew
He
you'd
never
lose.
finished it. He continually kept going.
And this is a recent thing that happened like 50 years
No.
ago.
It was
Oh,
years ago.
years ago, like 70s, early 70s.
And then he died of cancer
Yeah,
while
Yeah.
he was doing it.
while he was
That's
doing
why he
it.
didn't make it to the end.
yeah,
Yeah, and
And then
he-
they wanted his mother to come up,
yeah.
who was still alive, actually.
Well, they were going to.
no, her corpse.
We're gonna.
It's like a
they-
funeral prior
They
for her.
announced, they
Necrophilia right
announced she was
here.
hosting the Olympics like 10 years earlier, so she could have died in the 10 years since
That's
when they
true.
announced.
No, sorry. I shouldn't be so snarky.
Yeah, no, that was in the recent Olympics.
Yeah.
But Gretzky said, fuck that.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch this old lady light a candle. I'm gonna
Actually,
fucking
she
do it."
asked to Miss Fox, Mrs. Fox, actually, I believe, asked Terry Fox to run or to light it. Yeah.
So were you guys like alive or aware when he got traded to an American team?
I was alive. I was.
Were you
6,
aware?
So
I believe.
was that a big deal when you were 6? Like, oh my god.
I didn't know any better at 6.
Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't. Now the people a few years older than me all remember where they were because he was the Edmonton Oilers. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Which is my.
Which
I was
is-
born in Edmonton. I was born into loving the Edmonton Oilers. Like that is my hockey team by default. So I also remember when they won countless Stanley Cups as a Canadian team with Wayne Gretzky, and then he was traded to the States. And I was probably 5 at the time, so I don't remember it being a big deal, but I knew that.
But the mood in the house sort of dampened a bit. Yeah.
Oh, people cried. Like, it was a devastating thing when he was... Because he wasn't traded, in the sense of the word. Yes, he was traded, but literally, it turned out he was sold to L.A., in a sense, because Peter Pocklington made a boatload of money off the sale of Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was basically like an ice hockey slave. Sold
He
to
was
a
sold.
different country, sent there
he
to money.
was sold.
Yeah.
I think they made him row there by boat
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
We tried.
Over Lake Superior. Do you guys go like hang out the lakes? Is it like an interior ocean?
Yeah, like Saskatchewan, which is the province over from Alberta,
Yeah.
has the most lakes in the province of like anywhere in Canada. It's got hundreds and hundreds of lakes.
Oh.
So you can go. Do you go on a boat,
Yeah, there's quite a few boats.
like big cruise boats?
Mostly like
Do you do
Uh,
the oil rigs out in these lakes?
no
What?
oil rigs are
What are you
either
talking about?
on the
There's Lake Superior. It's the world's biggest lake. Between America
Sounds
and
mental.
Canada, right? There's Lake Superior, which is like, and there's other lakes, big lakes as well. But Lake Superior is the biggest lake in the world, and it's like an inland ocean. Like literally, military boats have sunk.
yeah,
You know,
it's a
during
giant-
wars
giant
and
lake.
Oh.
stuff and that. You know.
Yeah. It's not
Sorry,
really-
maybe I have no concept of how big these lakes are.
I know, but that's what I was asking you guys. Do you have any concept? Like, do you go to the beach there? Like, do they have waves on these lakes? Or?
No, it's in a different province.
Oh, so you don't go there. No.
I've never been there.
You can't go
personally.
surfing. I just want to know if you can surf. I heard someone say that you could still surf there. I'm like, how do they get waves big enough on a lake? But
They're not very big, but I think if you get enough wind and stormy conditions, it's possible. We also have some river surfing.
oh, really?
Ah.
Yeah, which is you kind of find a good pocket in the river with a constant current, and they can surf in that one spot on the river.
Yeah.
I've never done that either, but it's possible.
Cool. Next on the list, classic again, William Shatner.
Oh, absolutely. Captain James T. Kirk.
First interracial makeout session
Yes.
Yeah.
on TV.
Yes.
I think I read that from the show notes. That's the only reason.
There was
That's a good one.
there was also a TV show just on William Shatner, and it was called How William Shatner Helped Change the World, I believe. So they go through, I don't know how many different topics, but they break it down, and William Shatner actually did change the world. If you watch, I haven't seen the whole show, but I would really like to, because I think there was at least 20 or 30 different reasons or
Really?
ways that William Shatner revolutionized the planet.
Is this similar to the way that Dustin Hoffman often credits himself as being responsible for the fall of the Berlin Wall? Have you heard him say this?
No,
Really?
not Dustin Hoffman.
No, sorry, fuck me.
Why you gotta
Pamela
yell?
Anderson's friend from...
No, Hasselhoff. David
Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
Which makes it even more believable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
Dustin
well,
Hoffman, David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, Dustin
Sorry.
Hoffman. If he's nice work, Dustin.
He actually claims to help.
Yeah. He claims he was instrumental because
And-
of his music.
And Al Gore claims that he invented the internet.
Does he?
Yeah. Well, not...
So that's why Abraham Lincoln said you can't believe everything on the internet.
Yeah. We hold these truths to be
we
self-evident.
here
Al
in-
Gore's a fucking
at least
liar.
amongst our group are more fans of Shatner for his musical career.
Yeah.
Do you have any music of William Shatner?
Because I have to
What?
talk it up while I set it up.
Well, no. I've heard a few of his spoken word songs.
Yeah.
He's got a very unique style. When his most recent, well, it might not be his most recent album anymore. It would have been about 10 years ago, right? He released an album, and I think Piers bought it, and we just listened to it a lot.
Yeah.
I was
think
a big
maybe
fan
it was
of
one of our first YouTube clips that we're a big fan when YouTube first came out.
Well, which one? Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the song I remember.
That's his that's his
Man.
big hit. But even his other covers are great. What about Common People? His cover of Common People is amazing.
Common People spoken word I quite enjoyed.
And that album's got a lot of really interesting sort of collabs. I can't even remember anyone. Who's that big dude with tattoos?
Which one?
He was in Bad Boys 2.
Oh,
He's a beat poet.
Ving Rhames? He's like a really big dude? Is he...
He's a white guy.
Oh.
He's that big, and he's got that goatee on him. Hey, is that the guy you're talking of? Like that scary-looking bastard?
Does he also do...
yeah, the beard guy is in Michael... Yeah. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about, is it?
Does he also do spoken word?
Yeah. And
No,
he's
yeah,
big on like
he's
the
in
hardcore
Henry
punks.
Rollins.
Henry Rollins.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He does a collab with Henry Rollins as well.
Yeah, he's big into spoken word as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry Rollins.
What's
This
this?
is not working very well. Striking.
I might take my headphones off because it's going to, nasty noises are going to start. I don't need to stretch my
I don't know. Oh,
No, it's not
William
gonna work.
Shatner.
change the world.
He did.
I believe it.
Yeah, I think William Shatner, next to BC Bud, is our second biggest export.
Probably. He's world famous.
Yeah.
Are you guys Star Trek fans at all?
Not
No, really.
overly, no.
I never got into it myself.
No. I was always of the era after William Shatner.
Yeah, with
What was-
Captain Picard.
Yeah, Picard.
That bald-headed bastard.
Still did a good job as, captain, but he was no James T. Kirk.
He was no. He's not. You're absolutely right.
Now, the next guy I have heard of, but I don't understand his significance. Not as a Canadian, but just I've never watched any of his stuff. Tommy Chong, who I'm assuming is the better half of Cheech.
Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
Well, and he's the better half because Cheech went and became a cop in a television show afterwards. So he's just a sellout, in my opinion. At least Tommy Chong's been to jail for drug paraphernalia.
There was actually a pretty big scandal. Like, Tommy Chong was arrested, and the United States government, or the DEA, spent something like $12 million just trying to apprehend Tommy Chong, which in a way, like, he's actually kind of a fictional character. Like, he's a real person, but he wasn't trafficking drugs in any way. They basically set him up.
He sells pipes and bongs.
Mm-hmm.
So they set him up to ship to one of the states in America that did not allow any paraphernalia. And somehow an order went through, and as soon as that went through to the state that it was illegal in, they busted his house. And rather than... they threatened to... What's the word I'm looking for?
Indict?
Dad.
Yeah, they were going after his wife and his family, and rather than that, he said, "No, take me to jail."
Mm-hmm.
So he went and
I think he spent maybe a year.
did some time in jail for selling pipes over the internet. And
It wasn't even like actual marijuana.
They wasted $12 million trying to.
And a war on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the war on drugs.
How did Cheech and Chong become famous? Like, what was the spark that hit it off?
I believe it was the late 60s, early 70s when they first started getting going, and they were just like that.
So they were just
duo. They were
they
like
go on TV
Dumb
and
and
get
Dumber. No, they did movies.
movies.
But before movies, did they do stand-up? Were they big on like comedy routine?
I'm not too sure. Like, it was way before my time.
Yeah.
No, what, really?
I know that he basically took the persona of the typical stoner and personified it to the point where he's actually a genius that in a stoner's body. But looking at him, you wouldn't think that he's very smart or anything like that, but he's actually a genius.
One of them's got like an amazing South American Mexican art collection. He's like a huge art collector. I can't remember which one
I
it
believe
is.
that would be Cheech.
Yeah.
Tommy just spends his money on paraphernalia.
He's a huge supporter of the arts. It's like crazy.
Definitely.
Yeah, hippie stoners.
So how did they become synonymous? Did they become synonymous with getting high because he was selling paraphernalia, or did they get high in the movies?
Yeah, in the movies. The paraphernalia venture didn't come till years and years later.
So he was trying to take advantage of his reputation to sell this stuff.
Yeah, he basically sold himself as a comedy duo, or they sold themselves as your typical stoners. And they made, I think it was 4 Cheech and Chong movies. But the first one is definitely the best and most popular. I can't believe you guys have never seen it.
I've never seen it. I'm familiar with Cheech and Chong.
It's a huge blind spot. I've seen.
It is.
I went to the store and they had a Cheech and Chong special on DVD at JB Hi-Fi for like, a few bucks.
This is a great story.
3 for $30 or something, or $10.
$10 each. Yeah. I was thinking about that just yesterday.
But I don't know, and people talk about them, but I got to look them up on YouTube or something.
You will. James. He's also a director. He directed 4 of the 7 Cheech and Chong movies as well.
Oh, really?
So there's 7 in total.
There's 7 in total.
7.
Yeah. And so he's got 7, and he directed 4 of them. Cheech Marin's in there.
Well, you guys have this is your top 10 Canadians. Film. I want to list my favorite Canadian, which is Tom Green, who pretty much inspired this whole thing. He set up a television studio in his living room.
Yeah.
This is after he moved to America, and just broadcast from his website. So I was just like, well, I don't have the internet bandwidth to set a video place, but I was like, I'll set up the next best thing, which is a radio station in my shed.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys are all here.
I'm not
basically.
Tom Green, and I can't have a video studio.
But I can have a radio station. That's pretty sweet. That's a solid spin-off.
Yeah.
To be honest, he had Tom Green on the list.
Oh, and he got kicked.
For Tommy Chong.
Oh, well,
because
6 is better than 5.
Yeah, so he was on there, and then we
shuffled him off.
Yeah. You gotta be.
He has never actually been one of my favorites. I have always not enjoyed him at all. I find him.
Yeah, I don't really
repulsive.
like any of his early stuff, but when I discovered his website, it was just like so funny. He's such a good host. And he basically had his one gimmick where basically he hired one guy as his tech guy to do everything. And whenever he didn't have a guest, it was just him yelling at the tech guy saying, why isn't this working,
Yeah.
And it was just hilarious, this idea. Because I know exactly what it's like. I try to do all this crazy stuff by myself with limited resources. And I know exactly, I guess maybe it just hit me in that funny spot because I know exactly what it's like trying to do stuff, weird stuff, like computers going crashing and suddenly,
What the hell?
It's like if Campbell was your tech guy, we didn't
forget about it.
We didn't show up.
James would just be
And
shouting.
he'd just be yelling at Campbell. And
I think it would be
empty
Campbell yelling at James. Why doesn't this thing work anymore?
I do yell at James.
Okay, yeah. Well, Tom Green just wasn't.
He didn't quite make it.
Because I subscribed to his website, I got access to see, he made all his back catalogue stuff available on his website if you became a subscriber. And I subscribed purely to support the live stuff. So I don't really care that much about the back catalogue, but I did go back and watch some. Some was amazing, like he invented planking. He was doing planking back in the 1990s.
What is planking?
You guys didn't get planking over in Canada?
No, we did.
Yeah.
You sound so
it's
disappointed
and where somebody
just lays
down, with their hands by their side, face down, and they're basically straight out, and you can do it
like a plank
anywhere, really. Yeah,
but it's about where you do it.
Yeah,
it's about like planking on the Great Wall of China or planking on a toilet.
You take a photo and put it online, right? But Tom Green took it, even though it was 20 years before, he took it to a whole new level where he would just plank live and they would video him.
Live?
Yeah. So people would just find this person lying flat down the street and that everyone would be crowding around and going, is he alive? Should we be giving him CPR? But no one, it was so funny. There's one video where no one like thinks this is like a dead homeless guy on the street, but no one doesn't want to touch him. Yeah. So eventually, like someone who maybe is a doctor comes up, and then Tom Green just gets up and walks away. But this is like 10 minutes later of just this crowd building around this guy just laying on the floor.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
So he was the original planker.
Yeah,
we've got him to thank for it, do we?
No, well, he didn't get any of the credit.
Oh, that's awful.
He was also the first person to call that Osama bin Laden was dead. And he didn't get credit for that as well. So, Ryan Seacrest or someone got it, on Twitter.
Really?
Why did he break that story?
How did why did
Tom Green break Bin Laden?
Oh, Bin Laden's dead. Yeah. No, he's not.
Just got word from the president.
Yeah.
Osama Bin Laden's
Well, probably the Canadian PM. He probably got told before anyone. The Canadian PM or the Governor General probably has a direct line to Tom Green. Says, break this on Twitter, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably Homeland Security.
But I did go. I didn't. It wasn't like I didn't just take his claim on faith value. I went on Ryan Seacrest's Twitter feed and Tom Green's Twitter feed, lined them up so chronologically, and Tom Green definitely called it before Ryan Seacrest. So there you have it.
I don't know what that means.
Do you have a Twitter account?
Yeah, I do. No, but I just don't know what. I can't comprehend the rest
Tom Green,
of it. Who was
nobody?
Before? What? No, but
it was just like CNN said, announcement from the president come in 5 minutes, and Tom Green was like, "You know what the announcement is about?"
You mean he guessed it?
Yeah. Well, he may have got a tip off.
From who?
I don't know. He never said. He couldn't reveal his source.
What, he's got sources? What is he like? He's like a journalist.
That guy's probably some sort of rogue CIA operative hanging out in Canada.
Out in public.
Yeah,
so,
eventually
no one suspects him.
Like 2 weeks later, a CNN did an investigation and found that, Tom Green was the first one to break it. And they were like, oh, yeah, because everyone had been credited Ryan Seacrest as breaking the news first. But
the guy from American Idol?
Yeah.
How does he get that information?
Well, how did Tom Green get the information?
I would have much rather heard it from Tom Green.
Yeah. Well, I was following him on Twitter. You should too, Tom Green Live. Although he doesn't, I think he's gone AWOL at the moment. I don't know if he's in
I've stopped following Twitter since Kanye dropped out.
He cancelled his subscription website, so I have to keep paying him.
Oh.
But I was there. I went Story Weekend first.
Subscription?
As in, like, he stopped charging me. Like, stopped charging everyone. It was like, you can have it all for free.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't tweet at all. Still don't have one of those.
So that's do you have a favourite Canadian you want to talk about?
I think it might come up later. Is it?
Or under musicians?
Potentially. Or who's the hottie now?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All right. Cam, when do you have to go?
Oh, probably in half an hour.
Okay, so musicians.
Who should we know about?
Well, you got a guys got a list here. Do you want to say what your favourite Canadian musician is before you hear about the list that provided?
I can't think of any. Enya.
Really?
Well, let's.
I think
that's the only one I can think about.
She's from Ireland, isn't she?
No.
Who?
Enya.
What? Enya. What?
She's Irish.
Isn't she Canadian?
I don't think so.
No.
She's Irish? Oh.
I think you're thinking of Celine Dion.
Oh, Celine Dion. That's the other one. The other
Alanis
mystic.
Morissette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jagged Little Pill.
Yep. Isn't it ironic?
Yeah.
That I got Alanis Morissette confused.
We've got a couple here. Like, we'll just kind of streamline this.
Okay.
I guess. Neil Young.
Oh.
The Tragically Hip.
Oh man, take a look at my life and my life like you.
Absolutely.
Yep. Is that?
That is the song.
That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one you'll know.
Rush.
Oh yeah.
The Guess Who.
American Woman.
Not the Guess or not the Who, but the
It's
Guess.
the
Wait,
Guess Who.
who did American Woman?
The Guess Who?
Oh.
Yeah.
They did their famous songs about American women.
When they play their hometown, do they sing Canadian Woman?
No.
No.
They still-
Canadian woman.
That's why it's American Woman, Get Away From Me.
So it's like me. It's like me saying, "Oh, Eurasian woman, get it up on me." Is that?
Kind of, except he wants the American woman away from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Get it.
Not on
American
top of
Woman,
him.
Get Away From Me.
Oh, I never really thought about those lyrics.
I thought he meant, get away from me, as in he's trying to play hard to get.
No.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want anything
interpreted
to do
it the
with
wrong way.
American
All right.
trash.
See, but I think I bet all the
Yeah.
American women in the crowd go nuts for
Yeah,
that song.
yeah.
That's the only one I think you guys will know, because the other ones they bring up here are...
They bring up? You mean you bring up?
Wow, I bring up here that Wikipedia tells me about,
Okay.
because this is my source of all information.
Well,
Oh,
likewise.
this last one, I know all about.
Bachlan Turner Overdrive.
No, maybe I have a different list.
We have Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, Gordon Lightfoot. My parents are the biggest Gordon Lightfoot.
So there you go.
Really?
Yeah.
Now we also have, like, there's one I've noticed on our list that for some reason we failed to put on there.
Brian
And that was
Adams.
Brian Adams.
Brian Adams. He's in my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Prince of Thieves.
Prince of
Robin Hood,
Why
Prince
is he
of
in Prince
Thieves?
of Oh, does he do the soundtrack?
Yeah, he did the song at the end of the credits.
Wow, wicked.
He did the Musketeers, and that's another reason I loved him, because he did two of my favorite movies, the Musketeers. He did All for One, It's All for Love, and then he did what's the one from Robin Hood? That's the famous one.
Summer of '69.
No,
No, that is famous.
although that was on the same album, so I heard
The very
that
best
when
of.
back in the days when you had to buy a whole album to get one song.
Yeah.
I heard that a lot.
Yeah, actually, I have a little Brian Adams here, but I noticed that you're a music player.
Oh, what? Because I want to listen to the Thong song later.
Yeah, because
We can try again. I mean, it was working before this.
Is Cisco Canadian?
now,
Because he's my favourite musician.
no, he is not
You
Canadian.
Sure? I'm gonna look
But
this
we
up.
actually found out some sweet information about some Canadian music that we didn't know until
Striking.
the day before we left. And that there's a band called the Sheepdogs. And they sing a song called I Don't Know.
It's a great song.
It is.
I don't know where I'm gonna go.
I'm going to
when
play it for you right
volcano
now,
blows.
actually.
Is Jimmy Buffett Canadian?
No.
I don't think so.
But the Sheepdogs were the first Canadian band to ever make it to the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Oh, that's
This
pretty cool.
band right here. They look like they're from the 70s, and they're from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. My understanding. Yeah, the very first band. Like, even The Who didn't make it. Rush didn't make it. The Hip never made it.
But these guys did.
These guys did, out of nowhere. Can anybody else hear this?
I can.
Yeah.
I'm getting down to it. You know, Cisco's in a whole bunch of movies. You know, Cisco is in Snow Dogs.
No.
That was a shite movie, though.
He was in Pieces of April.
My
as
cousin
well.
was in that movie.
What, really?
Snow Dogs.
Cisco was in Pieces of April.
Yeah.
I gotta check that movie out.
He was in Get Over It and Surf School.
Is this where his music appeared? Is this
No,
soundtrack?
this is where he appeared.
He appeared. Okay.
And he was in Celebrity Big Brother 2010 UK. And everyone went, who? And he went, yeah, you know, the Thong song. And everyone went, yeah.
Let me hear that phone.
So while we're listening
like
to
this.
some Canadian music, should we talk about some Canadian food?
Yeah.
What?
meat do you eat? We've already done that.
Well, as far as meat, we've got
Bear.
Canadian bacon.
Oh. You guys.
So what's Canadian bacon? How does it differ?
My only research for sure is I actually did go to the supermarket and look for Canadian bacon. They didn't have it.
no.
I didn't know
Because
where
you
the-
don't have Canadian
Well,
pigs.
we're the
That
Canadian
explains it.
bacon is
Done.
very similar to your back bacon, where
Okay.
it comes in like I think it's kind of round slices rather than the long strips.
Yeah.
That's typically what Canadian bacon is for us. But like we have regular bacon as well, and it's in strips.
Yeah.
So,
But Canadian bacon's like trimmed.
yeah, like
it's
back bacon.
It's
yeah.
the best bacon you'll ever eat.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Every-
don't tell
the world-
Peg you like bacon, because she tells you about all the terrible things that they do to pigs.
Yeah. No, it's
care, because I like bacon.
Another kind of delicious meat known amongst Canada is Montreal smoked meat, which
Okay.
is kind of like
I would call it like a pastrami, in a sense,
Like-
but with much tastier.
yeah, it's famous. It's like in most delis they'll serve it and it's smoked and just you have it with mustard and on rye bread,
yeah.
with some sauerkraut or something. It's so delicious.
Yeah.
So
We like our sauerkraut and
yeah.
out of that, but that's rather Ukrainian, but we seem to put it on shit.
Yeah. I was going
Don't
to
know
say
why.
because we know sauerkraut here. Everyone knows sauerkraut, but we don't.
It's exotic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, is
sauerkraut's
it?
like no one's going to have sauerkraut
So
in their
if they're
fridge.
serving sauerkraut, you know you're at a fancy place.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Whereas we'll get
Okay.
sauerkraut at like a vendor on the street for hot dogs.
Yeah, we don't even get.
They have like
Street
sauerkraut
We
there.
have onions cooked in tomato sauce.
Yeah, that's like it's like an. I guess it's like our sauerkraut.
Yeah, we have those two things as well, but they're separate. We have either onions or tomato sauce, which we
Ah.
call ketchup.
Yeah.
But
No, we just cook them together,
We caramelize the onions in tomato sauce. 'cause
Mm.
it's
Oh,
so
and it gives it
sugary.
even more sugar.
I would try that actually. It sounds delicious. What about maple syrup?
Yeah, we got that. I think we're the only producer of maple syrup.
Proper maple syrup.
From trees.
From trees, where like you put it in.
What about where's Vermont? Is that
Who
in Canada?
cares? That's a state.
That's in the States. I
We don't
do
even wanna
believe
talk about
they
those.
make it, but
They make it there as well.
But
not
it's
the
not
same.
Canadian maple syrup.
No.
Because you put that on your back bacon, on your Canadian bacon. And it
Really?
is so delicious.
Actually, one time I went to
Or on your ham.
on ham
yeah.
in a sandwich.
You could make a sandwich if you choose to, but we usually
What do
just
you do
eat-
with your ham?
Like,
If
Well,
it's
you
on a
get like a
sandwich?
nice thick cut of ham.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like you got breakfast ham.
or even
Have you ever had ham with like a slice of, like a thick cut slice of ham with your breakfast?
No.
for like Easter or like a big family meal, you wouldn't cook up like a big
Oh, like a leg of ham.
like
Okay, Christmas leg of ham.
Christmas
Yep.
ham.
Pour some warm syrup over
What
that?
do you guys do? You guys have Canadian Thanksgiving? I've heard about.
We do.
Yes, it's
And
different.
what the hell is that?
It's
What do you
just-
mean? What the hell?
It's the only.
Well, we
Thanksgiving
barely
know.
understand Thanksgiving in Australia. American Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Is it exactly the same as American Thanksgiving, but a different day?
it's just different
Oh, it's
days.
like a
One's
month
in
earlier.
October, one's in November.
And what does it celebrate?
The same thing.
What is it,
the
though?
First
What does it celebrate?
arrival people.
No, because that's not what it's about. Didn't they share it? Didn't the Indians go like, you guys are all fucking freezing. You don't know how to do shit. And they helped them. And then, isn't that what happened?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
It's the same. It's like
You know what?
you and the Inuits.
They give me turkey and
Get together and have a meal?
stuffing and
Well,
potatoes.
the Inuits
I'm gonna find
are far up north. We actually have the
Or you have Native Americans.
native people
we
as well.
yeah, they're not one and the same, I guess. But
No. I'm not sure the specific differences between.
You didn't get taught this stuff in school?
We did, but who paid attention in school?
Okay.
I think probably in grade 2 or 3.
Because man,
when
we
they
had,
finally told
you
us
know,
something.
we have Australia Day, which is like when the white Australians came and invaded Australia.
Is that January
26th, and we get told all about that in school.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the closest thing we have to Thanksgiving, really. But it's not a family thing. I guess
No.
families do stuff when you got young kids, but it's more like getting drunk
Yeah.
and having a
that-
barbecue.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just find things to do that on, like, hey, it's Thursday.
So is that your Canadian Day? Do you have a Canadian Day that's separate?
We have Canada Day, yeah, and that is July 1st.
Okay, and so that's celebrating like the independence of Canada?
Yes.
Federation Day? Was that?
70-ish,
Yeah.
give or take a couple.
Because our Federation Day is the 1st of July, 1st of January, which is New Year's Day, so no one actually celebrates it because
Yeah.
everyone's just getting hungover from New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I found out about Thanksgiving.
What do you got for us, there,
Okay,
Cameron?
in the States, Thanksgiving was a European tradition that celebrated the harvest cycles that was brought across.
Yep.
And also the Native Americans celebrated their harvest cycle at the same time. So it was sort of just like a... Hey,
Joint holiday?
yeah, a conjoined holiday. Conjoined twin of a holiday. But in Canada, the origin of the first Thanksgiving goes back to the explorer Martin Frobisher, who had been trying to find a northern passage to the Pacific Ocean. His Thanksgiving was not for the harvest, but in thanks for surviving the long journey from England through storms and icebergs and getting to Canada, I guess.
Oh, so we don't care that we got any of the food off the ground. We're just glad we're here.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll take that one
Yeah.
every October then.
So there's no Native Americans involved at all?
No.
In Canada. Or Inuits. Inuits.
Inuits. I didn't know.
I mean, Eskimo is such a nicer name. I don't know why they're so anti-Eskimo.
Because a white person thought of it.
Yeah.
That's why.
So what does Inuit mean in Inuit language?
Should I look that up?
It probably just means the
Us?
people. Yeah, everything just means the people.
The people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like whenever
I
they
don't know.
translate
But
it.
do they have like tribes?
The Inuit?
What do we call them in Australia?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, there are
because,
tribes.
Because
Oh,
they
there
got
are-
their own
Are there
province
tribes of
now.
There's different cultures. There's different societies.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there's the Southwest people. There's the.
But
there's
do we
the
call them
desert
tribes?
people.
No.
No, they're probably They're cultural groups.
Yeah, but do we have a name for them?
Cultural groups.
I seem to remember tribes is not the word that
Yeah.
we use.
Cultural groups.
Oh, we don't use culture groups either.
Oh, here we go.
Gangs?
Yeah,
No, sorry, mobs. Mobs is actually
Really?
yeah, mobs is
Okay,
actually
mob.
a really commonly used term
Um,
because you've got like Kimberley freshwater mob and saltwater mob, and so maybe mob.
But we have in theory, we have 180
Different language,
Aboriginal languages or something.
different language groups that are distinct.
Yeah, 180 tribes. I still think tribes is the wrong word to say it.
Well,
But
you use
180 mobs.
Go
Well,
with,
look, you're
go with
trying to-
180 different dialects.
dialects. There you go. You're
Yeah,
trying to do
I
the
know,
right
yeah.
thing. I don't think anyone.
Well, I don't know if that includes dialects. They may be speaking completely different languages for all I know.
I think they're different languages.
Yeah, because obviously, man, it spans an entire continent. You know, Perth Aboriginals would never, before the invention of the car, have met a Queensland tribe. I'd say.
Oh, even closer than that. Someone from Mugaruva never would have met someone from Perth.
Yeah, maybe.
Ever.
Yeah.
But
4 hours by car would take forever.
But you know what's crazy is that when this is a really spooky kind of story. Okay, when the first
Wait,
Australian,
is it really scary?
yeah,
Because I got to go to bed soon. Are
I
you getting
got-
goosebumps?
yeah.
R.L.
when the-
Stein
when
style?
the first,
He's Canadian, isn't he?
hun,
Isn't R.L. Stein Canadian?
probably.
Goosebumps.
All right.
When the first Australian explorers left, because when Australia was first settled, it was only on the coast in the harbours.
Yes.
No one went in the desert, right? When the first Australian explorers went to the desert and met the Aboriginal tribes,
Yeah.
guess
This
how
is-
they were welcomed?
With death?
No, with the stonemason secret handshake.
Oh.
You mean to tell me, you're going to try and tell me that the Masons, the original Masons who now run Atlantis and the power of Atlantis?
Our recorded people, right? Our first, at least as history is recorded, our first explorers went into the desert, met these Aboriginals that and languages no one had ever heard of, and how they communicated was giving the stonemason
But
secret handshake.
How did they know it was the stonemason's secret handshake?
Because some of them were stonemasons.
Some of the Aborigines?
I don't know enough about this
Anyway,
to have an opinion.
And there's also all this. There's also this evidence of this secret Portuguese settlement somewhere in the middle of Australia that no one's ever found evidence of, other than from books and stuff. But no one's found physical evidence. It's like our version of the lost city of Atlantis.
Well, there was the perpetual search for a inland sea. That all the settlers.
Well, that's what they're all
existed.
going for, and then they turned up and they're welcomed with the stonemason handshake.
No, rockin'. But a freaky story
So
that
is that like
true.
us going to Toronto and learning how to crip walk?
Kind of, yeah. I'd say it's the same thing. But one of another story that I believe is true. I'm not saying I don't believe yours is true.
Yeah.
But another story about some of the first contact that a Aboriginal cultural group had with white settlers was, I think, in the 60s. This was their first contact with white people when a group of scientists went into to survey a region for the development of, I think it was a space center or a launch site.
Woomera? I don't know.
I'm not sure where it was.
Yeah.
But so they went out into the desert, and they were, in cars. They had all this, what at the time was, the most high-tech equipment, and they were looking at building a space shuttle launch pad, or surveying sites for it. And this was the first time these Aborigines had ever seen a white person before. Now that's some freaky shit, because
They probably think we're sick.
I mean, the Aboriginal population, the culture is incredible and so on and so forth, but essentially they were using stone tools, a nomadic society with no architecture, no cultural kind of objects that are held, like that we had, or technology.
Yeah.
And then, Europeans arrive and they're building a fucking space shuttle.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're fucking building a shuttle to go to the moon.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Imagine that.
So this was the Aboriginal people building?
Yeah, they were building a space shuttle, and they've never
stone
seen
tools?
white people.
Okay, so the Europeans were... okay.
They were going out, and this is the first time Aborigines had seen white people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had stone tools, and I think they've got it on footage as well. This first encounter, there was an SBS documentary about it recently.
They've just had one, maybe a year or so, maybe a couple years ago, about the rainforests in Brazil. They said that they flew over, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's people there." It's like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, right.
It's like, there's actually population.
Question of the week, okay? If you could have a drink or a doob with any one Canadian person, alive or dead, who would it be?
Does it have to be Canadian? Or
That's the idea
I
of the
think that's
Canadian
Well, for the
thing.
Canadian special, I think
I guess that makes
Nick
sense.
put this question in as generic thing, but since it's a Canadian special, we've mentioned quite a few great Canadians.
I only
Did I say Americans?
Yeah.
Oh.
I only have one, and that's Wayne Gretzky, because I only have one question to ask him. He was doing an interview before he retired when he played for the New York Rangers, and he said he'd come back and play one more year if one of two people showed up to play for the New York Rangers. And he mentioned one of them. One of them was by the name of Pavel Bure, my favorite player in the hockey league growing up. But Dave Hodge never asked him who the second one was. And that's my question to Wayne Gretzky.
Wow. It's burning. It's burning. It's been burning you up this whole
Failed
time.
by journalism.
Pardon me?
You're failed by journalism. You
Yeah.
didn't ask the right
No
He didn't
follow-up
ask
question.
it, no. And I want to know who that second person was.
Wow.
Roger. I'd probably say,
But that's just...
if I'm going to share a drink or a doob, we've been talking a lot about Tommy Chong, and I'd probably hang out with that guy.
Yeah.
I'd
See
ask
what he's
him,
about.
see what it's like to be persecuted so much for something I enjoy, and just what it's been like to be a pot-loving hippie for
Yeah.
the majority of his life. What about
James?
you guys?
Well, it's, we're talking about Stacey Nissen. I'm like, oh my God, to go out with Caitlin Ryan. That'd be insane. But then also, obviously, my Canadian hero is Tom Green. So it'd be hard to split it.
Well, I'll take.
So what would be your-
I'll take Caitlin out for the drink, and we'll
Well,
catch
what would
up.
be
and
your
you bring
one-
Tom along.
Yeah,
Okay, but now what's your one question to them? Because now Nick wants to know what it's like to be a hippie all his life. I want to know who Wayne Gretzky's going to play hockey with. What's your question
Well,
to Tom
is
Green?
it too
there?
boring to choose someone living? Should I choose someone dead?
Why? Both our guys are alive.
Yeah, I know, but you could speak to a dead person.
You could, I know we
Yeah.
missed some sweet...
John Candy.
Oh, that'd be funny. Hanging out with John Candy.
Oh, God, having a beer with that guy would be good times.
Are there any Canadian astronauts?
Absolutely. You know what? I got a
dead.
list of some interesting Canadian things
There are
that we
Canadian
haven't
restaurants.
invented.
They used the Canada arm.
Yeah, we did.
On the spaceship.
You could talk to James Naismith. He invented basketball.
Oh, wow.
Who else could you talk to? Because I got a pretty
Solid list.
solid list of all the sweet Canadian things we've invented. You could talk to the George J. Klein. He invented the electric wheelchair.
That's a good invention.
How
That's helped a lot of
about
people.
the people who developed the electron microscope?
Canadian?
Yeah, Professor E.F. Burton and Cecil Hall, James Hillier, and Albert Prebus in the late 30s.
What about the Hills fucking hoist?
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
That's right.
Or-
They invented that.
He's trying to spill water everywhere.
Or you could talk to the people who created the green garbage bag. Yeah.
Wait, what?
The green plastic garbage bag?
That was
Yeah,
Canadian.
that was a
Okay.
Canadian.
Well,
They've changed the world. The whole world is
Green.
colors are.
We invented the IMAX and insulin.
oh, James! They invented IMAX.
No, yeah, IMAX.
Cinema.
Yeah, cinema IMAX.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Didn't we? Was it insulin or penicillin or both?
I got insulin and... Oh, we did not get penicillin. I did lie about that one.
Mm.
But we did invent pablum, the pacemaker, the paint roller, panoramic camera,
Paint rollers.
the position homing indicator for the aircraft, Pictionary, Pizza telephone computer delivery service, the portable high chair, Puzz 3D, questions of scruples, radar profile recorder, radio compass, retractable beer carton handle, and the roller skate.
wow! What? Really?
What's a retractable beer carton?
It's called a tuckaway handle for a beer carton.
So is that like
Steve
when you pick up the box
Pasjak,
and it turns
19
into a handle?
I don't know about that one, to be honest.
I'm not sure.
I just don't know. And one other awesome one, because as men we use it every day. 98%.
Masturbation.
The zipper.
What?
Yeah. Gideon's son back in 1913.
What? They didn't have zippers before then?
Nope.
Just
Buttons.
And we invented the,
Everyone was wearing tights anyway, probably, before then.
it's, well, Velcro.
I don't think that was invented yet.
The telephone. We got that bastard, too. Oh,
What?
Alexander Graham Bell.
Bell was a Canadian?
I
Yep.
think so.
I believe we also have electricity, or the electric.
We probably shouldn't brag all night on everything we've invented.
If to
Nah, those
maybe
are just
perhaps
random
to,
ones.
perhaps to conclude, right? If we were speaking to Americans, we would be describe New Zealand to them as our Canada. Because basically all the famous New Zealanders Australian claim as our own, and it's
Yeah.
like, yo, Australians are so cool because all these New Zealanders did stuff.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel discriminated against by Americans? Like everyone just assumes you're Americans just in the 51st state?
Yeah, because I was just in the Mac store today, and he's like, "Oh, you're American." I'm like, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Yeah, you're close enough."
Oh, and did you say, fuck you?
No, because he was helping me with my computer, so I didn't have the
okay.
time to shank him in the back room. Just was gonna
Yeah,
hit him like
I've-
Tanya
I've-
Harding style, take out his kneecap.
I've learned to ignore it. Like I don't really care. They can think what they want.
Yeah.
Canada has enough culture and is an awesome enough place that we deserve to be our own entity. We're not the 51st state, and I don't know. I'm proud of being Canadian, and I don't think I'd ever want it any other way.
Unless you had dual citizenship with Australia.
That would be my only other option. But we're both part of the Commonwealth, so
Yeah, well, Commonwealth countries got to stick together.
yeah.
Chog 'em for life, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
We had a Chog 'em special a fortnight ago, didn't
Really?
we? Was it a fortnight?
Yeah.
Do you guys even know what Chog 'em is?
What the hell's a fortnight ago?
Well, we're actually.
Do you
part
guys
of
not
the
have
same-
fortnights?
We do, but we just call them, like, that's a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wait, slow down. You don't have fortnights?
We don't ever use that term.
Whoa.
Wow, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We call it a fortnight. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's a measure of time. Fortnight. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Because anyway, well, the reason Chogham's important is because the one thing that Canada and England and Canada and Australia have in common is we
One
have the
of.
same Queen,
Yes, one of the things.
and of course the Queen came and hung out with the Canadian
So-
PM and the Australian PM.
Chog 'em is the Commonwealth Head of Government meeting
Yeah.
that occurs every second year
Yeah.
in various Commonwealth countries, where all the Commonwealth heads of government come
Yeah.
together and talk
Yeah.
about.
So your PM
Who
was
fucking
here
knows what?
in this city 2 weeks ago or something,
Yes, he was.
chilling with the Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard there was helicopters everywhere and all kinds.
Yeah, non-stop.
Fighter jets flying over. It's like
Yeah.
we were in a war zone.
Well, actually, you did
Without the
actually
wall.
just sign up for having a bunch of Americans up in your northwest there near Christmas
They have a
Island.
secret base right near Ez Rock. It's probably underneath Ez Rock. We don't know, but they do secret things there.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're in the middle of the desert and they can do more here. If they wipe out your country and not their own, then
Yeah, it's true.
they're going, ooh, had one of those bad ones.
Yeah, one of those oopsies.
It's a good thing they're 10,000 miles away.
Anyway, that will have to wrap it up. Thanks for coming in. Ooh, bang for the Canadian special.
Thanks for
Canadian
having us.
Club
Yeah, thanks
special.
Thanks for
having us.
exposing your country to every Australian here, because they'll be all be
It's
listening.
really exposed.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
And we
Anytime.
we failed, as we were drinking Canadian Club today, it was one of those ones we failed to mention on our list.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that
Of
would get a big
awesome.
shout out. We have been drinking Canadian
I
Club
somehow drank an entire bottle of that in 2 hours from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Passed out, woke up at 9 p.m. and then went to the party feeling almost sober.
tonight. Wow.
Even though
So
it's
you just felt Canadian.
probably that's what it was.
What's the deal with beavers?
We love beaver.
There's one on the Canadian Club bottle, I'm just wondering.
Wow.
They're
It's our
like,
national
It's like our
animal.
koala, right?
yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
the koalas of Canada?
I'd
If
say-
your
Or
koala
the
is the
platypus.
national
Probably more like the
animal of
platypus.
your country.
It's one of
No,
those.
it's not like a platypus.
Well, they're like platypus.
Yeah, they got tails like a
They
platypus.
live in water and chew down
Yeah.
trees and make dams.
Yeah,
But
I
they're
watched
like
a
one of those.
documentary on
They're one of those animals where everybody assumes they're cute and cuddly, but
They're
would tear
nasty
your
as
fucking
fuck.
throat out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're big
Yeah.
as well, aren't they? They're a lot bigger
They
than you
can
think.
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
And if they
I
create
had-
like some dam, they could like if they create a dam that actually broke and it could flood a whole city, right? Then they
Well-
have problems with that.
Absolutely. The beavers we get, they're fucking huge.
Yeah.
You gotta be
Actually-
careful of them. They block off oceans.
As a child, my dog was attacked by a beaver.
Really?
And, yeah. We were out by this lake building a cabin for a family friend. We were out there camping, and my dog disappeared. Came back in the morning and had like a huge gouge out of its neck.
Because they eat trees.
Yeah, but
So-
they have huge
Yeah.
teeth. And the dog must have went in to either play with it or inspect it or try to kill it. And the beaver bit it in the neck.
Because imagine if you just walked out there and tried to take a bite out of a tree, it would be like not be a pleasant experience.
Yeah, like if you can chew down a tree, you can chew someone's neck off. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Like what is
Easy
that?
peasy.
It's like jelly.
Yeah, and they use their tail as warning devices.
Just slap
They
it.
create-
yeah.
Such a noise with their tail that it's a warning device to all the other beavers in the area.
Yeah, I watched a documentary on them just recently, and it
Yeah.
blew me away. Just
pretty
like
cool.
How awesome they are
Yeah.
at engineering dams and things, and
their
bridges
huts.
and skyscrapers and things like that.
Yeah.
They
They
are-
built the Hoover Dam, didn't they?
Oh,
They
like-
shipped in labor, like
They did bring in their
a
own
beaver
labor. Yeah,
workforce
they.
and-
I'm just picturing a beaver like punching a time card and going to work now.
Just packing things down with his tail, really smoothing out that concrete, eh?
Is there a famous beaver? Like we have Skippy the kangaroo and Taz the Tasmanian devil. Do you guys have a famous beaver?
The beaver on our coins, on our nickels, is probably the
Oh,
most
you gotta-
famous.
Oh.
Does he have a name or is it just
Canadian
the beaver?
I
change?
don't think so.
Yeah, I do have it.
Do you realize that other people outside the world, when they talk about a beaver,
Yeah, I believe it's
they're-
actually probably Pamela Anderson's beaver.
Yeah.
That's our most famous.
Well, we had that recent ad for that tampon ad. Do you remember that one? Was it tampons or was it pads? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was a lady product, but it was just it was kind of a cold open of the ad, and there was just a cute girl with a beaver, like an actual animal beaver, and they were going to the movies together. There's another girl, and they're getting their hair done together. Another girl, getting a manicure, and so on and so forth. And it's sort of like girls treat your beavers right.
Yeah.
And then it was an ad
Wow.
for tampons on pads or something.
That's
It was quite a funny ad. It was quite funny.
I'll try and put that in the show notes. Fucking fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish I could see that.
Yeah, it's kind
I'll
of cool.
check it out on YouTube.
YouTube will have it. All right. That wraps
Thanks
up
for
another show.
Join
Yeah,
us
thanks for having us
on
once
Fan
again.
Around.
Oh, we didn't talk vampires or cars.
Well, we ran out of time. We can keep
Quick,
going.
what do you guys
the
drive?
actual computers crashed. So we're not even on air at the
What
moment.
do I drive?
Yeah.
We're
I
not.
drive
No.
a Honda Civic Hybrid.
Do you really?
Yes.
There you go. What do you drive? Back in Canada.
2003 Mitsubishi Lancer.
Mitsubishi Lancer. There you go. Just wondering. We're
Our vehicles are.
Do you have a
on-
Canadian company? Like we have Holden.
Oh,
yeah, we have Chevy.
Chevy.
Well, actually,
is
not
Chevy
a
Canadian?
single company is Canadian.
Okay, because Holden's like Australian, but it's actually GM.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bought. It was bought by GM in like 1920, but
Yeah.
it's an Australian brand. Like you don't get Holdens elsewhere in the world.
No,
No.
but they're GMs everywhere else, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, we were discussing which company owned one of your company. We
Holden, because they have the SS.
Yeah, and that's what we
Yeah.
figured. So that had to be a Chevy or GM product because of the SS. But yeah,
I think it's a GM.
and we just started getting Fiat over in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got those tiny little Fiat.
The 500s?
Them compact cars you guys got over here. Yeah, we're starting to get those bastards.
500s are gorgeous.
But
I
our-
like 'em.
Like I've only seen one truck
Here.
so far. You guys
Trucks
call
aren't
them
big.
You call them Utes, but
Well,
Well,
you see my brothers out the front.
Utes are different to trucks, though.
yes.
But yeah.
Now I seen an F350. Was that a dually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now those in Canada, those are like cars.
Everybody has.
Everybody has one of them fucking things, man. If you got
ridiculous.
we've got like $80,000 trucks, like jacked up 10-inch lift, 35-inch tires. Like these things are just tanks and run on diesel. But our fuel is so much cheaper.
Fuel's expensive.
Then yours, so like.
But you guys both drive.
Japanese cars?
Well, yeah, and also in my mind, what I'd consider not typically Canadian cars.
No.
When I think of Canadian cars, I think of trucks.
Yes,
Yeah,
I did own a
pickups.
truck,
We both owned them.
but
So what's the deal?
the fuel was ridiculous, and my insurance and everything, because it was considered high performance.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to sell it and get something better on fuel. So I sold that and bought a Harley motorbike and a...
Oh, wait.
So Nick
hybrid.
sold his truck. Now he works in the oil and gas industry, and he has this. Every once in a while, he gets this conscience about what he does for work, because we do. We honestly, you know how like your mining rapes the earth.
Yeah.
That's what our job does too. We rape the earth. So Nick, every once in a while, gets this conscious about him, and so he sells this massive gas guzzling fucking truck that he's got, and he goes and buys himself this dinky little car that's electric. Like
You have an electric car?
It's one of the very first.
Electric
It's a
assist.
hybrid, yeah.
It's one of the first models, so it's not...
Ever.
It doesn't turn over to straight electric. It's got a small electric motor that assists the gas motor so that it uses less
Gas.
petroleum.
We get phenomenal fuel mileage in his car, absolutely. But after he buys this car, because he's still got to...
Hard on for the big engine.
Well, yeah, and he's got to swing his dick around just a little.
He can't
He's
quite
gotta
give
go-
it all up.
No, he goes and buys a Harley.
Which,
It was badass.
It was.
Well, that's
it
the
was.
thing.
It was pretty sweet. Don't get me wrong.
it was pretty sweet.
You join a gang?
It was.
I sold
Biker
it.
gang?
I sold it. I wasn't riding enough.
Yeah.
If I lived in Australia, I would definitely have one because you can ride it all year.
Yeah.
But in Canada, we're pretty limited.
Well, Fred's purely
I
a
don't think
motorcycle
you could
man now.
actually
he
afford a
doesn't.
Harley in Australia.
Oh, fuck,
Nick.
man. Yeah.
Fred sold his car.
Yeah, Fred doesn't own a car.
Now
He's
is
only
he
got a
paying?
motorbike.
Is that to pay for the tie guy surgery or the lady boy surgery that always seems to cost so much? Or
Oh, he was a poor student. He didn't have any
Okay.
money.
Now he's a doctor, isn't he?
Well, he's got a
You hope.
doctorate, but he's not getting doctors. He's not on six figures or anything.
he's no six-figure salary.
No, he's jobless.
Well, he might get a job on some weird science project.
Yeah, he might jump on that Large
Square
Hadron Collider.
kilometer.
Yeah, or the Square Kilometer Array or something.
All right, well, if we're not on the air, I'm not playing any more Canadian music because this shit's only got 11 songs in the
Well, can we put on some Cisco the Thong song, please?
Are we still on air? Or did we sign up?
No, I think it's crashed. See, it's
Oh, what
I
the
don't know.
fuck?